The following is a presentation of the St. Louis Chess Club. It's not over yet at the American Cup in St. Louis. Two-time runner-up Wesley So got the draw he needed, earning him his first American Cup title. The two ladies drew their classical match, which forced a playoff that went all the way to Armageddon, where Carissa Yip won with black and evened the score. Can Alice Lee continue her reign, or will a new queen be crowned? Day 10 of Championship Chess. Coming up next.
Hello everyone and welcome to the grand final of the American Cup. Wesley So has already clinched the Open's title, but the Women's Championship is still on the line. Carissa Yip forced a rapid tiebreaker against Alice Lee, and today everything will be decided. Stay tuned because the final drama begins right now.
Hello everyone and welcome to the final day of the American Cup. I'm your host Nazi Paikidze and I'm here with the one and only Yasser Seirawan.
Nazi, it's been a great pleasure. Today we will be crowning a champion.
Yes, Yasser, one of these two closely matched rivals and best friends will take the title today.
Wow. Hello everyone and welcome to our show. What we witnessed yesterday was a battle royale. Whoever wins is going to be a very, very deserving champion indeed. Nazi, do the honors. Tell us the results from yesterday.
Yes, yesterday was an intense day. Let's take a look. In the open section, Wesley So managed to make the draw. That's all he needed to win the event. In the women's section, it was a draw between Alice and Carissa, and that forced the playoffs.
Well, tell us what happened in the playoffs.
Well, that was a fantastic show we got. As you can see, no draws, all decisive results. First game, Alice won with black, then Carissa won with black. In the second blitz match, it was all white who won the games, and in the final Armageddon, Carissa came out victorious.
Amazing. The Open, we have the final standings. Let's have a gander what happened there.
Right, first place winner is Wesley So, taking home $90,000. Second place goes to Livon Aronian. Third place, world number 3, Fabiano Caruana. And a very good result by Awander Liang, finishing fourth.
And once again, Wesley, what a champion you are. Well done.
Huge congratulations, very well deserved.
And tell us about the schedule for today. What are we doing?
Well, today is the Rapid Grand Finals. These two will face each other once again, play 2 rapid games. If it's a tie, we'll have some blitz playoffs.
Fantastic. And Maurice, we couldn't ask for a better matchup of these two. Break it down for us.
Yes, well, the open section is decided, but now we get to the women, and these two have been putting on an absolute show. They didn't want to end it in a classical. They want to show us what they can do with playoffs on the line, do or die, and the clock ticking to the very end. And let's take a look at the playoff madness that they created. First, it was the champions bracket on March 8th. I mean, it is March Madness month after all. And they played 2 games. Alice dominated that match, although she was worse on the boards, but she was able to pull it together and win both games and relegate Carissa to the elimination bracket. Carissa said, I'm not standing for this. She came out of the elimination bracket to seek revenge, but it was not easy at all in the grand final playoff that we had yesterday. Alice wins the first game and puts Carissa's back to the wall, but Carissa bounces back with a win, and then it's same thing happened in the next round when again Alice won the first game, but Carissa was able to right the ship and tie it up again. They went to the Armageddon where all Carissa needed was a draw with the black pieces. But hey, might as well do it in style. She won the game. They played 11 games already, and they may actually play another 7, count that, 7 games today. Guys, wherever these two are playing, sign me up because they are absolutely just thrilling to watch. And I talked to Carissa about that playoff yesterday. Here's what she had to say. We are with four-time U.S. champion Carissa Yip as she did the battle from one game to the next. 6 times you guys played each other today. This is epic. How do you feel while you're in the middle of this incredible battle?
I mean, honestly, I was giggling a little that we made it to Armageddon. Yeah, it was just so, after game 1, when I just like hung a piece, I was pretty mad, I have to say.
You could tell.
Oh, you could tell?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
The way you walked out of there in a quick heartbeat.
Yeah. But okay, I guess it happens, and had to win on demand twice, but somehow managed. And yeah, this last game I was feeling pretty good about.
All right, good luck.
Thank you.
Nice. Well, can she get it done today, or will Alice show why she's a back-to-back champion of this event? It's must-see TV. Can't wait for the action to start.
Absolutely. And in the first game, who's playing? White.
I believe it's Carissa, but
gets to
let's
start?
take a look at the head-to-head. Just their rapid. 1 win, 1 loss, 7 draws. But as Maurice pointed out, in this event alone, they played each other already so many times. And today might be
Maybe
7 more.
That would be amazing. Carissa starts in the first rapid game with the white pieces. And what are they? They're playing for first and second. Tell us about the money at stake.
Right, this is a total prize fund for the women's section. It's $150,000. First place takes home $40,000, second place $30,000, but the champions bracket bonus already went to Alice Lee.
Okay, so $10,000. And the Tiffany bracelet, too. Don't forget those really beautiful silver bracelets as we see Alice getting wanded. No electronic devices whatsoever allowed in the playing hall.
She seems to be in a good mood.
She does indeed.
How do you prepare for rapid playoff and then knowing that it's very likely you will also have to play blitz?
I think you come in with several mindsets because you have the challenge at different moments. So you have a mindset where you may have to win with white. So you've got an opening idea, a weapon. You have to win with black. You have that opening idea weapon. What happens when you need to make a draw?
With white and with black.
And so
Yes.
you have, so you want to perceive these challenges
All kinds of
ahead.
scenarios.
Ahead and adjust. And by the way, those scenarios that I just pointed out could happen within a 10-minute
Yeah.
space of time. As you just heard Carissa mention in her interview, she was upset. She blundered a piece, by the way, with check, too. I mean, it was a
That was the
harsh
first
blow when
game,
she
right?
played that F4 move, and it was check with the bishop, and then rook takes E2.
But
and-
she recovered quickly.
yeah, and that's what it takes too, is imagining, how you're going to recover. from
Having a
these challenges.
short-term memory, forgetting your big blunder and starting all over again.
Exactly. Now, having just gone through what she went through yesterday, I would say Carissa's actually in a really wonderful mood because she has to win 2 matches in a row. Yesterday she did it, and now she's got to be feeling like, okay, now I can get into my flow. She definitely is in a
hear
good
her.
mood.
Everyone else is just arguing.
Giggling.
Yeah, definitely in
Arbiter's
a
about
good
to
mood.
make an announcement.
Yeah.
And Carissa Yip,
Today, and then 15 minutes after, we'll start game. Okay. You guys may shake hands and start what's called.
Carissa Yip is only 22 years young. Alice, even younger at 16 as the games are off. And
Whoa.
the
no-
treat for us is that these two are going to be playing each other for at least a decade to come. We're going to see this. This is what an amazing treat. And Yaz, you must be happy. Yeah, actually, Nazi as well. We see Carol
Yes,
Khan.
absolutely.
Cara
Except
Khan.
until I saw this move C5. Yes, I was happy.
Well, this is what Fabiano was.
He played this against a wonder.
Was using the C5 variation. Well, it's the advanced Cara Khan. But 2 things surprised me. First of all, is Alice got pushed out of her Sveshnikov.
Well, against Carissa, she was playing the Petrov.
And she got pushed out of the Petrov because she chose the Caro-Kann as a way of maybe surprising her opponent. Now, after the move e5 and c5, you almost feel like you're in a French defense. And in these French defense positions, after, say, the bishop is on f1, you almost never see the opponent going bishop to b5.
That's an extremely rare move. Everybody plays knight f3.
Everybody.
Maybe bishop e2 I've seen once or twice, but bishop b5.
Okay, so the main move against bishop b5 is actually cd4, which Alice was just trying to remember, I guess. And c takes d4, and now bishop f5.
Yeah. Just so we don't end up in the French. You don't play e6 yet. Develop the bishop, then go e6.
And the funny part is, even if you did play e6 and you did go into a French, the fact that the bishop is actually on b5 is a kind of a success. But yeah, bishop f5 is the main move. And after bishop f5, everybody, well, not everybody, some folks play knight e2, but most people play the move that Carissa just made, which is knight c3 and e7, e6. So both players are following the precepts of opening theory. And now we can see from Black's point of view what Alice wants to do is play knight e7 and a6.
So maybe now is the time for Carissa to take on c6 before the knight comes to e7.
Precisely. It's do or die. You do it now or you don't do it
At all.
at all.
But it's kind of hard to give up that bishop for the knight this early.
Absolutely. You don't want to do that.
Of course, the upside is that
tension.
Black will be left with that backward pawn on c6. However,
Okay.
in Caro-Kann, Black always plays for c5.
Absolutely. And so now Alice is going to play knight e7 with the intention of a7, a6, breaking that pin. And again, thanks to the bishop being out, usually we say is equalized.
Right, and I see in the database there's only 3 games played.
And I see that Black won all of them.
0-1s. That's not a great statistic for White in this opening.
Let me play into a variation where White has always lost.
Well, we don't know the quality of the games or whether
True.
there were bleeds or
But still,
classical, but yeah, still.
it's off-putting.
Well, let's change. The verb matters right there. Which one to use? Is White has always lost or White is always lost? If White is always lost, then that means White has a bad position.
Right.
But if White has always lost, it doesn't mean that White has a bad position. White simply misplayed the position and happened to have always lost the game. So that's the difference here. Engine gives this as better for White. So surprisingly, you see White lose this position 3 times. That should not happen given that White has an edge in all the lines. And now we see the move h4 get played. And maybe part of it is White gets rambunctious in this line and throws away some of the edge. Black, players who play the Caro-Kann or the French, they usually like the setup and play it quite well. And people like VAR and yourselves can vouch for that. It's like you're very comfortable playing this your main defense. So who knows? Maybe it's just that comfort level that has allowed Black to sustain the victories.
I've had about 5 games against Carissa with the Black pieces in Caro-Kann where she goes h4 and g4. And we just try to surprise each other on move 23.
And who's the more successful on move 23?
Carissa so far.
Carissa's been more successful.
Yes.
Well,
But again, just like Maurice said, I get good positions, just later I get outplayed.
there you go.
So right now, yes, as you can see, Engine likes White, even though results said White lost every game. White's position looks decent.
Well, it's also one of those things where are you comfortable as White? It's one thing you got an Engine saying, yeah, you're happy. But it's another thing saying, yeah, but what am I supposed to do in the position as White? Like, what is White? Well, we just saw h4. Is that an indication you want to go h5 and f3 and g4? Or did you want to go knight to g3, chase the bishop down? I mean, it's pretty self-evident what Black wants to do. Black wants to go a6, rook c8, maybe on a good day play knight b4, and thanks to this bishop,
Yeah, I think Carissa will be dropping down bishop d3 and trade those bishops, which is typical in Caro-Kann. But then as
here
I
we
love
go.
it. I love what you just said, yes. It's such a great point that many people don't understand. You can turn on your engine and it will show you that you are just fine, that you're doing well, blah, blah, blah. But now you've got to play the position.
Right.
And if the engine is telling you, well, you got to do this weird move. For example, the move h5 by Carissa, the next two moves for white that it was suggesting was to play the move bishop to f4, which obviously you can't do here. But I want to make this point about the next best plan, which is bishop to f4, and then king to f1, if black doesn't bother white with a6. Now, you've got to be aware not just of your opening moves and how good your position actually is, but also the reasons why and the type of moves you'll have to make in order to maintain that advantage. And that, when you have easy moves, as you mentioned, like a6 for black, black is just playing the normal moves. Just bring the pieces out, unpin yourself, bring the pieces out. It has happened that bishop to d3, as you suggested, Nazi, appeared on the board.
Yeah, that bishop f4 is also kind of surprising. Like, what on earth is the bishop doing on f4? Now,
Overprotection, Yasser.
Yeah,
Overprotection.
overprotection.
Nimzovich.
Your favorite.
Yeah, for sure. Now, from black's point of view, normally in a French, you start to target the pawn on d4, pardon me. I was about to say d6. There is no pawn on d6. And to that queen b6, you play rook to c8 as well, bring the piece.
And I hope to put the knight on f5.
Right, and bishop takes f5, knight takes f5 is rather suggestive for black. That's where you like the knight. Now, the fact that the pawn is already on h5 kind of means that the f5 square is not permanent. Carissa will have g2, g4 in her bag of tricks to chase Alice's knight away. So Alice just played the move rook c8 and said, okay, your turn, I've developed, what have you done? Now, I mentioned that there might be
Knight before coming?
a possibility of knight before showing up. And Carissa said, I'll shut that down even before you reach
Consider doing it, yes.
for the knight. a2, a3 on the board. And
Now another big question here is for black, when is the right time to play f6? Because to finish development here, you'll have to do some kind of a breakthrough on the king side.
Right.
Either f6 or you trade the bishops and put the knight on f5 and develop the bishop that way. But as
To
you pointed
e7.
out, when knight goes to f5, there's g4.
right, the
So-
potential for that. Let's just put that on the board, by the way, because I think that's a very salient point. Bishop takes bishop on takes d3, queen takes d3, knight f5, g4. Now to
Can
not
go
to
to
go
h4,
back, you go knight
but
to
it's
e7.
quite scary to leave the knight there.
Yeah, exactly, right? And then, Maurice had mentioned that engine starts to think, well, king f1, bishop f4, bishop g3, try to drag that knight to its doom. Bishop takes d3, another a2, a3. What that did, from black's point of view, is it kind of weakened the light squares, specifically b3 and c4. So I would find the move knight a5 attractive, and maybe this knight would come out the other side as opposed to f5.
True, but while black's trying to play on the queen side, king side falls so far behind the
Yeah.
under development. White goes f4, g4, f5, and just goes for the checkmate.
Goes for the checkmate.
By the way, we do
So
have a
to
move.
your question was like,
Yeah.
should she play f6 and
I would
break?
be thinking about f6 right now, but
I
Alice
see.
did play queen b6.
Queen b6.
She's focused on the queen side for now.
No trades on d3, right? Queen
Yes.
to b6. So I think from Alice's point of view, she would like to play bishop takes d3 and maybe queen to b3, just trying to invade on those light squares.
It should
We
be
haven't-
pointed out that the D pawn was not hanging
Right.
at that moment. We should point out that if you move and you try to grab this pawn, then say goodbye to your queen after bishop
Even
to
though you have
b5
knight
check.
c6.
So that was not really a threat, but yes, now queen takes queen, and you can reach for your knight, but you won't get a chance to move it. Your king being pinned. But it's interesting because this last move by Carissa is supposed to be good for white, but not as good as the more enterprising move B4.
Ooh.
If you take a look back here, this move B4 to grab as much space as possible and stop your move, Yas, knight to A5. Now, after some analysis, the engine's saying, well, maybe things are not as bad as they seem, and this variation matters quite a bit. Takes, knight to F5. And it looks as though the D pawn is hanging, but once again, after king F1, don't touch that pawn because bishop E3 becomes problematic. Although, I got to say, after knight E3, you got to recognize queen E3 is the correct move in this position, and that knight is pinned and will be won. So it wasn't necessary for her to play knight A4. She played it rather quickly. It is still a good position for her. The queen now nestling on the A7 square. I love seeing games where pieces are on squares, especially the queen, on squares where they don't often go. How many times in chess do you see a queen on A7 in the opening? Maybe there's some Sicilian lines where you'll see it. The queen will drop back to A7. But this early, the configuration of pieces is quite unusual. Even if they're not on like absolutely crazy squares, but a knight on A4, a bishop still on F8, a knight blocking it, the rook still in the corner. Are you castling or not? No, you should put your king on F1, the queen hanging out back on A7. Boy, this is a rich one and a lot for them to try to solve in a rapid game.
Well, that's the point. Rapid game. Correspondence game. This is a very, very subtle position. How you position your pieces. King F1, and oftentimes when your pawn is on H4, white is also looking at a rook. Rover, rook H4, defending D4 for whatever good reasons, and then rook to G4.
I see Carissa's trying to make a move, but she's been hesitating. Twice she went for it and went back.
What was she reaching for?
Not sure.
It looked like
B4.
It looked like B4, but I also want to point out the way Carissa was scratching her head. You know, they said this position is a head scratcher.
Yeah.
She was literally scratching her head.
Right.
She reached down and then, I think I'll pull my hand back. Yeah. It's a complex position. It's the first time that she's had a truly deep think in the game, and she has played B4. The engine, again, thinks it's suboptimal now in this particular position. But you can understand it's so rich that different moves, mistakes might get made. And this is not a mistake, by the way. She still has an edge, and she's grabbed quite a bit of space with that last move.
She does. And if I were black, I would just be a little bit concerned that I am falling behind
It's time
in
to
space.
finish development, right?
Exactly. Now,
With the tempo. Now D4 is actually hanging.
Now, the question I have for you is, what do you think of this sacrifice?
You know, I did something like this against Carissa actually in the American Cup or the US Champs. Didn't work out for me.
So the idea is I'm giving up.
But position was interesting.
Giving up two pieces.
For rook and two pawns.
For a rook and two pawns.
And then I went home and analyzed it. It's actually a very interesting sacrifice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Black should definitely consider this.
Because one of the things I'd be worried about as black is that I could get positionally strangled. That is to say, I run out of space. As you said, G4, F4, and get on with business. And then what's my business? So this, I would find myself drawn to this sacrifice.
I'm afraid of this move, Yas. I just optically. Can we humor me a second and continue with your analysis? Takes. Yep. Sorry. Let's analyze this together. Takes, knight takes, and queen B3. Maybe?
What?
Queen B3.
Queen B3.
Maybe I don't want to be on B3. But okay, let's go.
Where do I go with the king?
D2,
F1?
No. I want to get my rook to take on A1.
Okay.
The reason why I want to do this is because I want to put my bishop on A3. The problem is when you castle bishop A3, you could take. If I could get a bind with a bishop on C5, knight on B6, you virtually resign, right?
If I had knight C5, I wasn't a fan of that. But we can castle first.
Okay.
Yeah, the problem, this is why the business about my queen on B3, because bishop A3 is what I really would love to play and put a piece on C5. But you got this knight D4 tempo.
No, knight D4
No, knight D4 that ruins.
This
Oh,
is
you
the
mean
big
if
plan.
I could get this? Yes, you're
Yeah,
right.
this is the big plan.
Oh man, if I got that, your 2 pawns are going nowhere ever.
But knight
this
d4
tempo.
hurts your feelings, yeah.
So let's get back to this. Where do you put the queen when you play knight takes? Is there an attractive square? I mean, looks. I wish I could put it on a3. To be honest.
Yeah,
But-
a3 would actually be ideal. The
I know.
problem is I don't take the rook.
We have a move on the board. It's bishop e4.
Ooh.
Ooh, that's crafty.
The
Let me-
engine doesn't seem to like it for black.
Okay, so what?
She's provoking f3 and then she wants to take on d3, which is logical, but must have some downside. Maybe just king f1, as Maurice showed us, it's a good move for white.
And that sidesteps the sacrifices
Absolutely.
too, by the way.
No more knight c2 forks.
No more knight c2 forks. Oh.
That's an ambitious move.
That's an
It's-
interesting point. Okay.
It's-
King
Yes, sir.
f1 or castles.
Well, Carissa considers her options here. Let's take a look at the pie charts.
I'm wondering statistically what Ben's algorithm thinks.
Pre-tournament, Carissa Yip was the favorite at 39.3% and Alice Lin second with 23.5%. It's been between these two players, right? After
Yeah,
day 5,
absolutely.
Carissa was still leading at almost 60%, Alice at 36%. Then, after day 6, it
Whoops.
flipped because Alice won the match. She was at 82.9%, Carissa down to only 13%. And today, after yesterday's crazy long day, look at that. It's almost even, but Alice Lee is still the favorite with 54.8% over 45%.
Well, here I don't understand. Show me once again the pie chart before the start of the tournament. Before the start of the tournament, Carissa Yip is the favorite, right? Let's see the pie chart before pre-tournament pie chart. Okay, we gotta
We'll get it,
we
but
gotta read.
I think what you're
reloop.
trying to say is that Carissa should be favorite today, right?
Well, here you go. Before the tournament, she's the favorite. Now you eliminate 6 players. You just take 6 players out
Right,
of
it
the
should
field.
be just Carissa favorite over Alice, right?
Right.
But it's because of their head-to-head in this event. Alice still has a plus score against Carissa.
Really?
She beat her
After-
2-0 in the first match.
She did, that's
She
right.
only lost in an Armageddon.
That's
so
right.
that's why I believe
Uh-huh.
Alice is favorite today.
So you think it's the history, huh? The history. Bishop e4, Maurice, weigh in on that move because I'm not sure I understand it fully.
Well, I think she believes f3 is a weakness for her opponent, and
That
she's
makes
trying
sense.
to get after bishop takes. It looks as though she's trying to get the d5 square for her knight.
Okay.
That looks like the major point. But that pawn on e4, that could become a real target in the position. Don't forget that rook h4 is possible.
Exactly.
That's one issue. The other issue is white has so many moves, which do not include playing f3. White could castle in this position,
Logical.
which is very logical, keeps an edge. The engine actually prefers the king f1 move it's been touting for all this time, keeping the rook on this file, because this rook lift will be very useful. If the rook is castled, then you don't easily get the rook into the game. But here, the rook has so many options to play, not only on the king side, but also on the queen side as well. So that's why king f1 is being suggested there. And then, we have king f1, castles, bishop takes on e4, all of the above. Just pick one, essentially. Just pick one and pick it quickly. She's down to 15 minutes now and 31, make that 29 seconds. So right now, Alice thinks she's probably doing okay with very little fear, but she doesn't know what we know, and that the eval bar says black is starting to get into some real trouble.
Thank you, Maurice.
Intriguing. I'm a pawn grabber, so I was looking at
Let's
bishop
take the
takes
pawn,
e4 variations, and I don't know. It feels like
Pawn on d4 just becomes such a target right after this. That's why it feels wrong to take on e4 with the bishop. Of course, if you calculate it concretely, it might work out and you might end up a pawn.
right.
Knight f5. It just black will always have this play against the d4 pawn. And I don't think Carissa likes to play defense, even if that means she's up a pawn.
Victor Korchnoi wondering to himself, what's wrong with today's generation? What he would suffer for a pawn, I tell you.
Have a move. Carissa castled. No king f1.
All right.
No bishop takes e4.
Also very, very sensible. Now, what Maurice was saying, the problem with castles is that the rook on f1 loses a lot of the flexibility it had by going rook h4, as we just saw, grabbing the pawn. So Carissa says, no, I'm not interested in the pawn. I will castle, defend the pawn on g2. I guess she wants to play knight c5.
So Alice only has one move, right? Knight f5.
Knight f5. Well, I think that was the whole purpose of the move bishop e4, was to make room for the knight. And since you're attacking the pawn
Bishop
on b,
e2, right?
and it's so legit, bishop to g2, right? That's a legit attack.
And if black just goes bishop e7, developing move?
Then I will make a developing move myself. Give me the bishop.
I would take on d3, then I would take on c5.
Okay, so we get a position where your queen is a little
terrible.
bit buried. This bishop, okay, and
g4, f4 is
g4,
coming,
f4
right?
is the aspiration. No question about
Unless
that.
black has b6 here and I quickly improve my queen, then I should feel okay.
It's still like, okay, it's move by move, right? Rook c1. Like if you take, I take. If I get to double up and dominate a little bit on the c file, I think that Carissa will be very, very happy with the outcome of the game. If you get to neutralize, then yeah, I'd actually prefer black.
One of the points of putting the bishop on e4 was actually to get the d5 square for the knight. So when you go to f5, after knight f5 in this position, it is possible to actually capture now, and after pawn takes, now the knight doesn't have the d5 square. It's now sitting over on f5. So that's just a point to make. Also, because the knight no longer controls d5, there is the possibility of this crazy move. And if white gets to execute it before black develops any pieces, this could be a huge problem for black. White jumps into the game quickly. Obviously, if you take queen takes, and now we're not only attacking the pawn, we're threatening the move e6.
That's huge.
And that's going to crack the position open. So that is an issue if you put that on that square. You have to calculate d5. Knight takes on this square is possible, and after takes, now there's some scrumptious looking pawns there. I'm not sure exactly which one is best to attack with, but something like queen b3 and knight f4 does attract the eye. This could get really sharp really fast with black's king still sitting in the middle of the board. White only needs one move to get another tempo, and then the rook swoop in. So Carissa, I can bet you will be looking at that variation because she's such a sharp, dynamic tactician that if that move lands on the board, and it has not just yet, that's something that Alice is going to have to consider. And I wouldn't just ignore it if I were Alice. I play knight f5. She might drop d5 on me. You've got to look at it and assess it, and that's why she's taking so long at the board now and just playing the automatic knight to f5.
Yeah, just following your suggestion of bishop takes e4 and d5, I am assuming Alice would play rook to d8. You don't want to play d6. d6 just you drop your e5 pawn, but that's not the end of it. You drop both. There is knight on a3 back, and
Now
there
you want
is
to play d6.
Sorry.
Now you want to play d6, take on e4.
Yes, exactly. Now there is the difference is that knight takes e5. You don't.
There's also queen a4 check here that can be quite unpleasant because you don't have
Ooh.
b5, I don't think.
That was the move I wanted, of course.
I'll
b5.
take.
Oh dear.
We'll go queen d7. Knight c7. Actually, it's not mate, but I don't know what would happen.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. We have some moves, but they were not this line.
Nope.
It was
knight
bishop
f5
b2. It
and
was knight
bishop
f5 and bishop b2. More or less as we expected. But that line, Maurice, with captures on d5,
Very interesting.
that definitely was an intriguing line. Now, bishop b2, and I think Carissa's just thinking, okay, if I get to play knight c5, I'll have some positional plus
Also, she
going
wants
on.
to take on e4 and play d5 now. We might even be better with the bishop on b2.
For sure. I mean, because the bishop on b2 will be protecting.
Yeah, bishop
opponent.
e7, for example, would be a straight blunder almost in this position because
Wow,
of takes and
blunder.
d5. I mean, that's
Bam.
yeah, you'll never take on
D6.
e5 now in this position because the bishop is sitting there gazing on the long diagonal. This is just horrific if it were to happen.
Right.
It's just too many things, too many bad things about to happen to you here.
So bishop e7 would be a blunder. Therefore, I mean, I don't know if the bishop f5 to e4 takes d3 stutter
Then you're
step.
admitting you wasted a tempo, right?
Precisely. Precisely. I
I
mean,
mean, it's
that's
still fine, and sometimes it's best to admit you made a mistake and fix it.
fix it. And I'm guessing we'll see some variation that looks a little bit like this on the board. A moment ago, you had played d6.
Right. I don't have that anymore.
But you played b6 because you wanted your queen in the game. So now you don't have to worry about the...
You still have g4, f4. It looks terrifying because black just has to sit there and wait.
Well, yeah, because you're not playing f6.
Don't think so.
No, not when the bishop is...
Not when the queen can jump to g6 too. Yeah,
You're
it's
right.
scary.
This is maybe not play on one go, but it
Sure
sure
feels
looks like
like
a
it.
goal. I mean, no. Probably that's not something that Alice wants. Clock times so far.
15 minutes for Carissa, 13 for Alice.
So still even on the clock, but
Oh, she played
whoa,
bishop.
whoa.
bishop e7.
Uh-oh.
She didn't want to admit her error with bishop takes d3.
Oh,
So
Carissa's
bishop
playing bishop
e7.
takes e4.
And this is a crispy chance for Carissa to play
Takes on d5.
a central break d4, d5. By the way,
It's also the most natural continuation here. I don't even see other good moves for white.
exactly, if you're not going to play knight c5 or rook c1. I mean, rook c1 and knight c5, if I did not see the breakthrough, the central breakthrough that we're seeing, those would come to mind. But this is so compelling. By the way, there was one player in my day who was making central breakthroughs, just incredibly charming, Vladimir Kramnik. He was really the maestro, if you will, of these central breakthroughs. If you look at his best game collection, it was a recurring theme.
Look at Carissa. Carissa leaned forward. She's actually a little bit further back than she was a second ago. She saw that move and she leaned forward, and all she's looking at is straight down that middle of the board. I would be shocked if she doesn't take on e4, but now she's kind of leaned back away from it. And oh no, she missed it
C1.
completely and played your suggestion, Yaz, the option of rook to c1. And believe it or not, after this move, the engine is saying that black is not only all the way back, but maybe slightly better. She mistimed the moment to take on e4 and push, and has now allowed Carissa back in the game.
Wow. Yeah,
I
a
think
big
she
surprise.
trusted her opponent a little too much. Sometimes your opponent plays confidently and think, okay, d5 probably just doesn't work.
Right.
But yeah, it was an absolutely critical moment. If she took another 2-3 minutes and went with d5, she had a huge advantage.
But what does she need 2 or 3 minutes for?
Yeah.
D5 is not like your most complicated move ever.
No.
I actually think she was so set on playing knight c5, this plan, get the grip, hold her opponent down, that she didn't even bother to look at the rest. It just looked so strong. Because if you see bishop takes bishop takes e4 and d5, I'm sorry, I don't care if you're Magnus Carlsen. I have to play that sequence.
Right.
I'm going to have to die on my sword, because what's the danger to me to play that way? Like, what actually could be bad about that variation?
No, indeed, it looks all to everything is in White's favor,
And
frankly.
of course she saw this. She
Yeah.
just dismissed it for some reason.
For some reason, she just stopped and said, "Not good enough. I have better with rook c1 and knight c5." This looks awesome, just simply awesome for White. In fact, I mean, if I have to play rook d8 and allow d6,
Ooh.
I'm not a happy camper. Missed opportunity. That's what it is. Rook to c1, castles. Did she play knight c5? She has. And if there's a drawback to this line, one of the things is the knight looks really, really well fortified, right? But there is a way for black to kick out the legs from underneath the knight, right? Very, very nice cheapo. Seen multiple times in my games. I can tell you that. So I think Alice will capture and play a5. And the benefit of a5, remember there was a rook on a1? Remember we trade, the queen could even possibly just come down to a2 or back to b6.
And can white switch to g4, f4 ideas again? Or is the queen side
G4.
a serious concern and white needs to focus on the b4 pawn? You have to play knight h4, right?
Forced.
Let's say queen g3.
So you're making...
Yeah, I'm ignoring the queen side. I'm just going to go with my plan on the king side.
And AB,
Take,
AB, pause, pause, pause. You know I can't resist a pawn, but no queen A2s.
Yeah, she's taking on d3.
Finally, we
Just
do
as we
have
predicted.
a trade, queen
Now will
takes
she
d3.
play a5? No, she takes immediately on c5.
Whoa, okay, that's actually
decision.
doing Carissa a favor, because the bishop on b2 for a moment there was actually playing a defensive role. Well, I wouldn't say a wholly defensive role. After taking, it's still, but it's also playing a little bit of an offensive role by denying
f6?
f6. So I'm assuming Alice is going to fall back on the b6 idea that you had
There
mentioned
might be
earlier.
a long pause here because Carissa has all three options. She can take with either pawns or even with the rook. They just lead
Even
to
with
a
the rook?
different type of middle game, but they're all playable. Yeah, taking with the rook, you can double on c-file. g4, f4 still exists. You can always go for that. This way, it feels like you're not giving black any counterplay on the queen side, which she might be attracted to.
Okay, I can't. Can I play like b6 and maybe rook c2? I'm imagining. Yeah.
Sure, rook c2.
Now, can I trade off all the rooks? Leave you saddled with a.
Well, when you go knight e7, I have g4. Oh,
I know, because I needed. I didn't want to get stranded.
I'm still gonna go
marooned.
g4.
Still g4. And knight e7.
This seems like a pretty one-sided game, f4.
Okay, that is okay. Now, I do have the C file, right?
You
Yay!
You do. Queen d3.
Feel like a samurai warrior, bringing my sword.
Okay, I can close the file though with bishop c3. Should have put the queen on d2 to not lose a tempo, but
Yeah, I think that that's fair.
yeah.
And then you were saying that instead of going for major piece trades, you got
I'll
this
shut down the c file, and then my plan is very simple.
f4, f5. It's not checkmate all by itself, but yes, I do recognize that black is the one on
Yeah.
the back foot and
And Carissa
defending
is calculating all this, trying to compare
this to the
which
current
piece to
position.
take with.
So rook takes c5. I don't think b4 takes c5 makes that much sense, does it? No.
And yet, it might be Engine's top choice.
Really? B takes e5 just to keep as many pieces on the board as
It's
possible.
less natural for us humans. I would
Yeah,
only
for-
look at d takes or rook takes.
For me, rook takes and d4 takes c5 are the most natural captures, except we're always told capture towards the center.
yes.
And b4 takes c5 is just such a capture. Remarkable when those old nuggets of wisdom prove to be accurate.
They're
So
still
the
even on the clock.
engine likes b takes c5, and does the engine then follow it up with g4 and boom, 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 boom? And
I'm guessing if white wants to play for a win, g4 has to happen sooner or later.
okay, and in those lines where we're playing for the attack, let's say did you play b6?
Yes.
Okay, and white goes g4, and you go knight e7.
Right.
Yeah, and we go, mad dog terrier style, and you take. I assume, and we take,
Take,
And-
a5.
and you're still going for
Yeah.
all of this business.
Okay, here black does have sufficient counterplay.
Wow.
It feels like.
Yeah, it's still, yeah, it's a scary looking attack though, isn't it? That's
It
coming
is.
down.
And just to remind everyone, this is
Yes.
the first of their 2 rapid games. Carissa starts with the white pieces. After this, they'll switch colors,
Switch colors.
and Alice will get white. But it's important, if anyone takes a lead after first
Wow.
round, you know, that's a huge advantage.
And
You
here
know,
we go.
choice
Rook-
is good normally.
Rook
but
takes c5.
Too much choice. The Iranian rule is not necessarily that good. She spent a lot of minutes deciding bc5, dc5, or rook c5, and her opponent spent no time and played the move a5.
Yeah. And I think I have to respect that threat to the b4 pawn. Drop back with the queen, defend the pawn. Actually, truly, I do find bishop c3 a lot more desirable. The problem is after
The rook
b6,
gets stuck.
why did I put my rook on c5? Why didn't I recapture with
Would
the...
you consider rook d5 here? Is that something? I mean, if you're in this
Yeah.
position, you have to go for
Yeah,
it.
yeah, I think I would actually, because this just looks like entanglement.
You've stalemated your own rook.
Yeah, the rules of physics and but queen d2, let's go. If you go b6, rook back to c2. Actually, rook c3, rook g3. I'm not really getting the g3, am I?
Not yet.
So
You
rook
gotta
c2.
include the g4 first, right?
Yeah. Rook to c2.
Okay, I'll open the A file.
Yeah, makes sense. A B A B.
Yeah, Carissa is taking a long think again. She's down to 8.5 minutes now.
I would be unnerved, and I think that she slightly was, by Alice waiting for rook c5 all this time and then playing the move a5 instantly. And she has decided, I need my counterplay right here, right now. And she has played this g4 move. And Alice is continuing a pace in
Alice
this
is playing
position.
fast.
She just played instantly. Knight back to e7. No need for me to sit here and think about it. And I got to say, this counterplay that Alice is getting on the other side, it's coming one move before White's attack gets rolling with f4 and f5.
Right.
So if you kind of calmly play the move f4 right now, this capture happens, of course, you're dropping a pawn. If you have to stop again to defend this side of the board, then you do have to consider what happens after queen b6 or queen a4 even. It's not as though her opponent is sitting still, and she played after this move. Now, she did have to play queen to d2, and we're expecting for Alice to say, I'm going to get some counterplay on the other side. I don't see your f4, f5 landing just yet. We're seeing the trade happen and an instant capture back. And Alice has a choice here of not ejecting the rook necessarily, but challenging that pawn sitting on the b4 square. I was thinking out a tactic just now, and I realized it does work because the queen's on d2. Check this out. Queen a4 in this position, b5 looks playable, and this is the tactic I was talking to you guys and thinking about. Knight takes on e5, because obviously if you take my knight, I take your rook. And if you say, well, let me just get in a tempo with rook takes rook, you get smacked by the queen sitting on the d2 square, because that's check. Hand me your lady. That is a variation that she has to look for. That means I can attack this pawn, and it cannot advance. If you protect it with the move bishop to d3, we're back to the b6 problem, which apparently rook a1 is a very good move. Okay, that's a good move. Trapping the queen.
But
So-
Black could get 2 rooks for the queen?
Yes, 2 rooks for the queen would be that position.
But then
So the
she
question now
passed
becomes, what would you do here? Maybe that's why, in this position, the Indians prefers this move, queen to b6, and with b5 facing the same problem of knight takes on e5. She has played queen a4, and queen c3 is on the board. All right, now we're seeing this variation play itself out real time. And now what to do?
Rook a1 is on Carissa's agenda, no question about it, because the queen
Gets
is getting trapped.
Queen b3, knight c1.
So let's have another look. b6. The rook is trapped.
You have to play rook a1.
No question about it.
I'll take it.
Now, if I play queen
Ooh,
b3,
Knight c1.
ouch. So we have to take on a1. Oops. We take, and what is
And
the...
you take c, and white has two connected passers, right?
But
But they get stopped.
can I quickly double trouble against them? Like if we play bishop c3, I'm not sure about
yes,
d4.
d4 is very tempting.
But right now, if the pawns get blockaded,
How do you defend this pawn? You have to bring your knight back to defend eventually?
there's a d4
And
sighting.
there's a d4. I'm not a fan of this, even though the engine says this is good for, well, not this, good for white. Or is it still okay for white? I think the point that we really have to make here is that pawn on g4 and that pawn on h5, it's supposed to be attacking. And look at Alice go straight down the line
Wow.
fearlessly. And she's saying, your attack now is not going to be the main engine of this game. That's not what's going to dictate what happens next. It's going to be your pawns or the open files on the queen side that will allow my rooks to penetrate. I am less afraid of white's attack right now than I was before, and I am concerned about those rooks showing up on those open files on the queen side.
I got a new suggestion, b5. So in the case of b5,
Knight takes d4.
knight takes d4, knight takes d4, or even bishop takes d4, I'll get a very good passer.
Rook c4. Kind of don't believe in that one pawn.
That's true. I
But
don't either.
To Maurice's point, yes, Alice is less afraid about the attack, but if we go to the current position, and yes, she's
She
taken
has
with the d pawn,
taken.
Carissa still plans to play g5, I'm sure. And she can get queen on g5, pawn on h6. It's still a bit scary on the king side.
Bishop c3, so hold on to your
So if you
point.
play rook b7 as you wanted,
Right.
let's try g5.
g5.
Yep.
Okay.
You have to
this-
go knight f5, right?
Yes.
I'll take on h6.
Okay. Pause, pause, pause. Of course, I want to recapture with a knight, so why pause?
Knight.
Although now you can play knight
Yes,
d4,
knight d4.
and I'm
pawns
more worried
move.
about your passers on the queen side suddenly. That was a clever thing you did, which was you distracted me. Oh, that was well done.
But what was wrong with taking with the pawn on h6?
After knight.
I don't know. Maybe I should.
Whoa.
Whoa, we have
Whoa.
we have d4. That move, I must say, I was
think it's a
attracted
great
to
move.
as well. Okay, she didn't play rook b7. She played d4 and said,
That
I
looks very
challenge
strong.
you.
You have to take, right? Otherwise you lose the b4 pawn.
Clear.
Rook d8 is coming.
Rook d8. Which makes me think, why didn't she start with rook d8?
Because then white would block with knight d4.
And then knight takes d4? Because b4 is going to be hanging, right?
No, not yet.
So had she started with rook d8?
Knight d4,
Knight takes d4?
queen takes d4.
Knight c6? Give me your pawn.
And then you're going to push d4 after.
Precisely.
That-
Interesting.
that's also interesting.
She sacrificed her pawn. Pardon me. Did Alice? Alice played d4. Knight takes d4. Rook d8.
Knight c6
now
only move
big-
here for white.
Only move.
Yep, to not end up worse.
There's a massive
Wow.
threat of knight takes on d4 for black. If you play Yasser before you,
Yes.
just to point out this threat, the threat is knight takes on d4,
Yes.
right?
So king
and then
g2.
knight to c6. So you make some random move. This
Knight.
is the move you're playing, and now knight c6,
And I'm
and
crying.
you can say goodbye. So you need to resolve the tension on the d4 square now. There's
Gotcha.
no waiting around. Now knight c6 is worthwhile to think about, and then rook takes d2, and now it looks as though you have to take. What is happening
So
here after king takes?
The bishop and two pawns.
Yes, but if the pawns get blockaded, yeah, but white.
I think it's the black who has a chance here, right? Not white. Because the
B-
pawns
because
are
they're
blockaded.
blockaded.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Should be equal, but it will be black, I think, who will play for more.
I think so too. So big moment here for Carissa is the move d5, d4. I think Carissa was planning your G5, by the way. And so Alice landed before you could get in the move G5 with D4 and Rook D8. G5 now, knight takes D4, knight F5 just ends the game.
Yeah.
You can't really, can I play Queen B2?
Queen B2. She's done it, but it's not a good move.
Why not? Well, we're
Oh,
about to
Rook
find
D4
out.
tactic.
Bang,
Alice is
bang,
winning.
bang. What a beast.
Whoa.
And she's been playing so quickly as Alice this whole time, every move
She
since
has.
G4. Just every single move. She's just taking seconds to make the decisions. And now she has just hit her opponent with a tremendous winning sacrifice. That's just crushing. And that G4 pawn is going to wish it were back home as well, as it's about to come under attack. All of White's pawns are in deep trouble.
Wow, lovely tactic. Rook takes D4, followed by Rook takes B4.
None of us saw it at all.
No,
and Alice
I was
ready.
I was just adjusting myself to Queen B2 because it was the
Yeah.
alternative to Knight takes C6. But is this? Can I get my Queen to F8?
Rook takes
So
D4.
I go Rook takes D4. Now,
No, I have Rook
unfortunately,
When you
so
give me a check, I can always cover.
I was hoping to go check King H7 and Queen F8. I was afraid that after Rook takes G4, though.
Even that looks lost as well for White.
Yeah, that I can't win with just my queen. The two knights are keeping everything healthy, and so does the rook. And look at Alice go, the queen C3.
She's not even thinking, man. She's like, I'm just making moves. I see them. I play them. I suspect knight D5 is going to come in seconds as well. She's just trusting her intuition.
Knight E5 is also available.
Oh, knight E5. Oh, my goodness. That's a killer.
Knight takes
Oh.
E5 is sweet
That
because
is sweet.
the knights will be
She's gone
Look at
for it.
this.
perfectly
She's
positioned.
like a total boss.
She's spotting every possible tactic in this
And
game.
very, very impressive play. Knight on E
To C6, right?
to
E7
C6.
to C6.
Knight on E7 to
Knight
C6.
7 to C6 is the right one to say.
I wrote longhand, by the way. Knight E7, C6 is what I'd write. I wouldn't write Knight E6.
And then Rook D3 will be next move, and this is it.
And look at this.
This is
Alice
all
knows it.
resigns.
And
You
Rook
can
D3
resign now.
and Rook takes F3 check. All the pawns are dropping one after another. And Carissa's lost. Just
No,
dead,
she can
dead
resign, not lost.
Yeah.
Resign with a clear conscience.
Rook
It's not
F-
even like you have a bad position.
Yeah.
You have to resign.
Yeah, Rook F4 followed by Rook F3 or Rook D3 followed by Rook F3. Those are Alice's two key moves. And wow, D5, D4.
It was brilliant.
Yeah, nice. Just Carissa never got her kingside attack going. There's not even the vestiges of it.
Yeah, she
the
missed that
attack.
one opportunity earlier to have D5 and have the aggressive position. Since then,
There
Alice
was
just found all the best moves.
One-way traffic. And we're expecting Rook D3 or
Yeah.
Rook F4 followed by Rook takes F3.
Black king is completely safe. White's pass pawn is not moving. There's no compensation, no counterplay for White.
And the knights
Beautiful.
are protecting one another, but they're also protecting F7, which protects E6.
Also
and there's-
attacking F3, protecting D4. Just beautiful setup.
And there's no checks for the queen. So, yeah, Rook D3 would make me think about Queen D3, but Rook F4,
It's not much to think about, though. Your king's on D7 in 3 moves.
that is true. So, but Rook F4 followed by Rook F3, I think would have provoked resignation. Here, at least, Carissa's thinking about Queen D3 before resigning. But yeah, everything's collapsed.
What a beautiful game from a
Impressive.
counterplay standpoint. When she played A5, instantly she took on B4. She played Queen A4, and then when Rook A1 happened, she sacked her queen instantly. And then she played D4 more or less instantly. Every move has been just one after the other, and just potent, dominating moves. Very impressive young lady. Her opponent now down under 4 minutes, but it wouldn't help if she had 4 hours against these pieces. Rook takes on F3 just ends it, and Carissa just felt the power of GM level chess. I mean, that's what Alice was just doing.
Alice is playing great. The reason why Alice is stopping, not playing the move rook takes f3, is because knight d4 is suddenly rather attractive as well. Knight d4 check, and she's done it.
Bringing all the pieces to the party. Oh, you're playing that. Time to.
So now comes
lunch
rook
on
takes
F3.
f3 check. Give me that one.
With a check.
With a
She's gonna
check.
pick up everything on the king side.
And now
Rook f4 looks
rook
good.
f4.
Oof.
Rook
The
f4.
c pawn just cannot move. It
And
can't
the
go
c
anywhere.
pawn is, and you're losing the g4 pawn. You just
White
lost
has
the f3.
only one check, and that's it.
She lost the e5 pawn because of a fork. She lost the f3 pawn with check. It's the dominoes.
Yeah, your g4 falls, and she gets in g5.
Okay.
Take
You
it
take it, right?
Yes, of course.
without a blink.
Oh,
You can include rook g4. I don't know if it makes any difference, but you can play rook g4 later as well. So.
I like having the rook protected as well. H takes g5 would definitely be my choice in a completely winning position.
By the way, she's doing this with the black pieces.
Yes.
That's
And
right.
when
Remind
you had a chance
everybody.
to make a breakthrough, isn't it funny? The breakthrough that would have been an absolute winning breakthrough would have, and she has resigned, would have been d5.
Yep.
And what was the winning breakthrough essentially, although it wasn't automatic?
D4.
But for Alice, the punishment was d4
Remarkable.
coming straight down. You were talking about Kramnik playing down the center
Yeah.
of the board, and that's exactly what won Carissa this game. What a
Center.
game.
Center breaks. For those of you joining us late, there was this key moment. What move was that? Move 17? And we are still in a bit of a disbelief that Carissa didn't go for what was such a patently clear idea, breaking through in the center when Black's king is still undeveloped, still in the center. D5 with the idea after e takes d5, queen takes d5, and looky, I get to play e6, attacking the knight.
You can also just take the pawn on e4.
Which I
You would love to do
alternative
that.
is brilliant. This was the turning point right here. But let's take a look through the magic of television when she played the move queen b2, and Alice was ready.
Alice was waiting for that
Boy,
move. Look at that.
She pounced.
She took less than 5 seconds to take on d4.
Yeah.
That's a winning move. And it took Carissa a second to realize that she just blundered.
You know, it's funny, these positions, these French Caro-Kann positions where the dark square bishop became a passive
Yeah, because it was
bystander.
blocked by its own pawns.
Precisely, yeah.
So here's what happened. The first rapid game ended in a decisive result. Alice Lee takes the lead with black pieces in round 2. She'll have white pieces and only need a draw to clinch the title.
But how often did Carissa come back?
We've
when she
seen
needed?
Carissa is capable of winning on demand.
With the black
Yes.
and with the white pieces, thanks to the hippopotamus. As we go on break, who's going to be our break?
Well, I think Irene is with Talia Cervantes. So enjoy their analysis and we'll be back very shortly.
Years of preparation, decades of battles, brilliance, heartbreak, and fearless sacrifices have led to this moment. 8 elite grandmasters will face off, and only one will earn the right to challenge for the world championship. 2 American powerhouses return to the gauntlet, chasing redemption and a shot at the crown from the youngest world champion in history. Is this their year, or will a new contender seize the spotlight? The road to the title runs through the 2026 FIDE candidates. Watch it at stlouischessclub.org.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the show break, and today I'm joined by woman grandmaster Talia Cervantes. Talia, thank you for coming to the show again. It's your second
Thank
time
you.
here.
I'm excited. Yeah, I
Yes.
love being here.
We love having you too. Well, today is the rapid grand final of Alice Lee and Carissa Yip. Alice Lee is the defending champion, Carissa is the challenger, and the first game of the rapid has just finished, and Alice took over the lead and won with the black pieces. But, well, it all came down to the tactics that we saw, and Maurice, I was outside, and I was just on my computer, and suddenly Maurice was like shouting, and I was like, oh, something is going on here. So, but let's get to that point later, and then let's take a look, whatever you analyze with Ilya Nishnik upstairs, because we also have the live commentary on site at the Queen's site. So let's take a look from the opening.
For sure, and that's what I'm doing these days, and even the match yesterday was really impressive to watch and commentate, but we came to today, we have this Karokan. It feels like neither player was super familiar with the opening, or maybe they wanted to just try something new, because we've been seeing a lot of Sicilians in the match. Sveshnikov, we've been seeing some Petrov. Alice mentioned that it's a very solid opening that she relies on when she's playing with the black pieces. So we had this line very interesting with bishop b5, takes, bishop to f5. Maybe here after knight c3, e6, taking on c6 was a little bit more accurate, but knight to e2. So far, all of the moves are making sense for both players. h4, very common idea. At some point, you want to keep kicking the bishop out and gaining space on the king side. But something that I found very interesting is bishop back, rook to c8, a3, and then we start seeing this tension in the position with the queen going to b6, knight to a4, makes a lot of sense. Technically, this move doesn't really have a threat, because knight takes d4, you always run into this coverage checks.
We can show this, actually, yes.
Like, for example, let's say random move by white, like the move b4, knight takes, knight takes actually runs into knight a4. But my point
I think you can play this one first. Yes, yeah. Knight a4 here, and then
we run
just
into the same idea.
Yes, that we also see a lot of things like this in the French defense. Yeah,
right. It kind of transposes. It kind of looks like a French this opening that they were playing, like an advanced French. But after queen b6, knight a4, queen to a7, b4, same idea with knight takes d4 not working. But bishop to e4, and then we start seeing like some tension here in the center after this move bishop to e4, because then you're wondering, should I take, should I not take?
Yep.
The pawn on g2 is hanging, so there are a lot of different aspects. I particularly like the move castles, because one big thing is that now that the bishop is on e4, there is no way for the bishop to go to g4 and go after the pawn on h5. So this is a new opportunity that Carissa has, castling the king. Although there's this very interesting idea of king to f1, basically do like a fake castle, artificial castling, and then at the end of the day you still have the rook to go to h3, to g3, and especially if you're able to bind the position of the pieces on the king side for black, maybe keep the bishop on f8 so that it has to protect g7, it can be very strong.
But this move is looking so unnatural, yeah?
Right.
Just to step aside with the king, protecting the pawn, and then losing your right to castle. So I think it's very understandable if Carissa chose the short castle instead, because it looks like, you know, you're finishing the principle in the chess openings.
Right, so after castles, knight to f5, this is a move that makes a lot of sense. And here we were discussing some ideas with bishop takes e4, pawn takes, and d5, wondering if this sacrifice works, because it was looking pretty interesting. Something like this, queen b3, and then you start putting pressure already on the center, and the bishop on f8 hasn't developed, e6 is hanging, so we're considering this idea as leading to some complicated
here,
positions.
maybe knight f4, and then attacking this, and then if I know it's just I just want
the position crumbles.
Yeah, it just crumbles
very quickly.
You attack something in every move.
For sure, and then especially if the knight on e5 is gone, g6 square, you're able to get all of that. So definitely Carissa had a lot of moves to consider, a lot of committal decisions to consider in this position, but she played bishop b2, which again, I personally think that this is a fine move. Carissa is not taking any risks at all in this position. And the bishop on b2 is going to support the pawn on e5. So this was a critical moment after bishop to e7. When we were analyzing upstairs, we thought that because bishop b2 came with the idea to protect the pawn, this was going to be immediate. And this is a really nice idea, because all of a sudden it's almost impossible for black to defend. And there's a really funny line with takes castles. You might think, okay, I'm sacrificing a pawn, but I'm getting to castle my king. But the thing is that after queen takes e4, the knight is trapped. Right. So you're actually losing way more than just a piece. So basically, we thought that, this is already a very difficult position to handle, especially if you have to play a move like rook d8, d6, and allow something like this. You just know that something is going wrong in the position. So we thought that this was the idea, but I believe fairly quickly, Carissa played the move rook to c1, and it was kind of a surprise for us because you want to continue with the initiative that you have been building up onto this point. But after castles, Alice could probably take a deep sigh, a deep breath, knowing that bishop takes e4 doesn't come with the same power. But after knight to c5 takes, this was another critical moment. Bishop takes c5, because then you're wondering, okay, how do I take back here? I don't know if you had an idea that you were considering, but upstairs we're talking about d takes c5. Because in the future you can use the diagonal for the bishop.
Yep.
So
maybe something like g4, f4, f5, and then just break open the king side.
And it feels very natural as well, because it's almost like this queen is trapped here, so you're forced to either play like b6 at some point, maybe a5, which is kind of what ended up happening in the game, because after rook takes c5, a5 comes with vengeance. And the thing is that b5 is never possible because of this knight takes e5 ideas, and then you see that the rook is overworked, the pawn has to defend too many things. And the funny thing is that even after g4, knight e7, queen d2, queen a4, this is still a problem. You still can't play b5 because knight takes, and then you're threatening knight f3 next move. So lots of tactics, and it feels like around here is where Carissa kind of lost the threat of the position, because we see how rook to a1 takes, and we get to this critical moment with knight takes d4, rook to d8, and suddenly the pressure is too much.
Right, and then Carissa played this queen b2 move. I think it was oblivious to her that this is the only way to proceed the game. Well, it's easy for us here in the studio to analyze everything, and then just play this position, although I know it looks scary because you're down in exchange. So I guess she just didn't see this tactic that Alice did on their game, like rook takes d4. She just totally missed this. I think if she would have seen this beforehand, I think she would have gone for the other variation, knight takes c6 and so on. Wow, Talia, this is a very, very big blow to Carissa. She's playing with white pieces, and she lost the first game, and technically on the next game, Alice Lee just needed to get a draw to continue her streak being the reigning women's champion in the American Cup.
Yes, and we saw how Carissa was fighting to her best yesterday, and she will have to do that this game in order to stay in the match.
Yeah, she won twice on demand yesterday in the playoff. So I think she might be willing to try again today, and she has to, because she has to make 2 days work, because everyone is working for her now.
Well, I don't mind. I get to work and talk about chess. Yeah, I get to be here, so.
Well, I'm rooting for them.
Playing.
I'm rooting for them to play until the Armageddon.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, thank you, Talia, and enjoy the next game, and see you again on the next break.
Welcome back, everyone. Big thank you to Irene and Talia. And Irene was helping us out every day.
Really great, carrying the show.
Yeah, it was wonderful to watch, so thank you so much, Irene. Let's take a look at the results after the first rapid game today.
What a game it was.
Absolutely breathtaking. Alice Lee defeated Carissa Yip with a brilliant tactic. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. And very shortly, they'll start round 2 with Alice with the white pieces.
And another must-win for Carissa.
And in history of the American Cup, only one player
has ever won the American Cup after coming out of the elimination bracket.
And that was Alice Lee. If Carissa manages to win this game and then win the Blitz playoff, she will be the second person ever to win the American Cup from the elimination bracket.
Exactly. Essentially, it means win the champions bracket, you're in pretty good shape.
Statistically speaking, yes.
Yes, that's what it is. Maurice, we've seen it before. Carissa has bounced back both with the black pieces as well as the white pieces. tall order after what we just witnessed from Alice.
Listen, I'm fixing my jaw after that bunch of punches. You know, if you're a boxer, which my family has a couple of them in them, you go back to the ring and you're days like this, or your corner's telling you, don't worry, just, just duck, please. If I saw the punches coming, I'd duck.
Right.
This is what Carissa's going to have to not only not get hit like that again, she's going to also have to punch back herself. We've seen her do it, though, twice. Win on demand. But you can't just keep living on the edge like this. Every single time they win, you have to win. They win, you have to win. I've seen matches like that. I remember in clutch chess back in 2020 when Magnus played against Fabi. Those two went at it the same way. What a match that was. They are thrilling us right now, these two young ladies. That last game, though, it's going to take all of her high spirits to come back and win this next one.
Absolutely, but still for me, the shocker was not capturing on e4 when she had that opportunity to play for d4, d5, because that type of position is what Carissa wants. She wants a chaotic attacking position where she has the initiatives, and she had.
It's her type of position.
Absolutely. Conversely, it was like she never got in any
No
threats
G5s,
afterwards.
absolutely.
She recaptured on c5 with the rook. It became a tactical target, actually. So
95s, right?
Not a great showing there by Carissa, Maurice.
Yes, I want to emphasize exactly what you just said, the capture on e4. If we can bring that up, she had this chance to take. She played rook c1 in this position, but she could have taken, and look at this. I mean, just breaking right down the middle of the board with Black's king still stuck in the center. Carissa's king nice and castled. All the pieces developed, the minors, even this knight can come to c5, so we're not going to consider it offside. And if you capture, this pawn is dropping, or e6. And let's say you get in e3. Oh, we're afraid she's getting counterplay. Counter what play? e6 is blast open, the long diagonal, the f7 square. The knight is hanging. The queen is offside now. It's just a disaster. And if you have to, excuse me, look, I touched the wrong thing there. Let me get back to that position right here. If you have to play rook to d8 and allow, you play this move, like pick it up and put it down. I need a chess piece. Screw that in on d6 and say, no, my friend. You're going to suffer this position. And then she can play for her rook c1 and knight c5, whatever she wants to do. This position is just horrific. She missed this chance, and it was a d4 breakthrough later in the game that knocked her out.
Yeah, a remarkable echo that she could
all
play
about the
d5, and
d-pawns.
then it was d4 by Alice. Yesterday, in that dramatic game that Carissa had to win with the black pieces to come back, she has been using this kind of perk, hippopotamus, black lion, not exactly sure. I think we're going to see the same.
Yes, but Alice yesterday
Switch
had
to
time
the King's Indian.
to prepare, because she knows that
Yeah,
when she gets
G3.
white pieces, she can face g6 and all this line. So I'm sure last night, this morning, she was preparing some interesting ideas against it.
Exactly. And you had asked me as we started the show, what do you do to prepare for such a knockout match with
Right.
rapid chess? Well, you have it in your mind in case I am faced with this challenge or this challenge. Well, guess what? The worst thing that was possible has just happened to Carissa. She had lost the first game with the white pieces. Now she must win on demand with the black pieces and defeat a player who has been playing better and better chess. I don't know how
She
to say
improves
it.
every day.
Yeah,
Like she's improved in this event.
that's what it feels like. And boy, I tell you, there's nothing like competition in the arena to strengthen you as a
And
player.
Alice has this confidence because she's won the American Cup twice and she's been in the finals 4 times that this is her tournament.
Yeah, she loves this format. It really does seem to suit her temperament, and
It's the
her
same
play
way.
abilities.
It's the same way when we think about Carissa in the U.S. Championship. Carissa's like, this is my tournament. You
That's
see
my
my
tournament.
name on the trophies? That's my event. And Alice has that same feeling. Like, every time I play here, I'm getting to the finals, and I've won twice already. So sorry, I know you're a high-rated player, bestie. I know you're the 4-time U.S. champion, but I've been there, done that, and I'm ready to go. We did just smile right there, the typical smile on Carissa's face. So she's not deterred. She doesn't look broken. She's cracking jokes still. She's not rushing. Look at that, still smiling. I just love her attitude, win or lose. She's always ready to just pick herself up and go back and play, fight, and learn.
Yeah.
Just learn from your losses. Wonderful attitude and the mark of a true champion.
And she said yesterday in the interview that when she sits down to play, she's happy because she loves to play.
Yeah, and wow, the St. Louis Chess Club really provides you with the perfect setting, right? You don't have to. The great pieces.
All the conditions are absolutely amazing.
Exactly, great lighting, everything.
Let's listen to the arbiter.
Decisive vote or point after this. We will go into playoffs. Okay. Right. Shake hands.
She just reminded them that if Carissa wins, they will go to Blitz playoffs. And we're off.
And D2, D4. Oh, big switch. E7, E6.
I'm sure Alice prepared everything against G6. And then surprise, surprise.
I'm surprised I didn't see E4 there because in this moment, F7, F5 is oftentimes used as a way.
When you need a win, right?
Yeah, you play the Dutch to cause some chaos. C5. Okay, so Alice says, all right, I like Catalans, I like Englishes. I'm not going to play D5. I'm not going to play some Benoni or something like that. What are you going to do to upset
We'll probably see
the
knight
position?
C6, and then Alice might respond with C3. Just a very solid setup.
If I were her, I'd capture on D4 and keep playing. It is an English that you'll be
Right.
seeing on the board because the pawn on C2 would most likely end up on C4. White has a little bit of space. You could end up in a hedgehog structure, which is not exactly how you play for a win with the black pieces. But you need an imbalance. You don't want her to shut things down, as you mentioned. And there it is, taking on
Takes on
D4.
D4, knight
You don't want her to
takes
shut
D4.
things down with the move C3. And
Queen?
before playing A6, she plays Queen C7.
Queen C7. Okay, that's a different little fiddling. Normally speaking, you'd like to play C4 and knight C3, and with the queen already on C7, kind of puts the kibosh on that idea.
If we do have this position, knight f6 on the board. I
I'm-
don't think Alice typically plays this setup. It's a new position for maybe both of them, but especially for Alice.
Which I think is the point.
Yeah,
I think that's a very good point. She wants to put her in something she doesn't have tremendous experience in, and she can play automatically.
but it's funny, if you're going to play an open Sicilian, a time on-off with the
Fianchettoed bishop.
with the fianchetto, yeah, exactly. You haven't committed your knight to C3, and there's something I would find attractive about the move E2, E4. Alice is true to herself. She likes those setups with the pawns on C4, so her move B2, B3 is saying, yeah, I don't want... I actually think that isn't this the Catalan pawn sacrifice? I believe Grandmaster Lev
Yes, yes.
Albert and many other players have played like this as white.
Right, but I don't think Alice wants to sacrifice anything in this game. She just needs a draw, develop pieces, play simple chess, make a draw, and take the crown home.
Well, that's so simple.
Yeah, I have this thing about making a draw. Yes, if you are Magnus, Wesley So, Fabi's, and those types, you're able to play this game and make sure you control the action. But it's not so easy to just make a draw. What did we see yesterday? She won the first game in the playoffs. She had to make a draw for the second one. What happened? She lost. She won the next game. She just needed to make a draw. She lost. Making a draw, I think, for me, making a draw, you start by trying, you just play the best moves and forget about the draw.
Right.
I'm going to show you that I'm going to make you beg me for the draw because I'm going to look and bring energy to the game. I'm going to play with initiative. and you're going to start saying, yeah, you know what, I have the black pieces. I think I'll just play safe and take this draw. Not saying you're going to play super highly complicated, crazy variations, but try to get the draw out your mind. Just play the game. And that's something I think is the mark really of champions. But she's played bishop to b2 first. Does this allow a possible e5?
I would seize e5 with both hands because essentially Alice is saying, I want to get in c4 and I want to do it on my terms. She should have
E5
just
and
played c4. The problem is if you allow knight d2 and c4, then white's better. But if you get to play e5,
Knight c6,
knight f3, knight c6, now you've established the central pawn duos. Now if you try to play c4, I get the move d4, and I'm really, really happy as black in a must-win game to get such a position like this.
Carissa needs right now.
100%.
And Carissa's pressed pause because she is looking at that exact move right now. Otherwise, she would just developed her bishop or her knight a long time ago. But she's wondering, what if I play e5 here? And it's just exactly this kind of thing that illustrates the inexperience of her young opponent in the subtleties in the opening. We see when the game gets going, the middle game gets flying, that Alice can be a tactical beast. But sometimes she makes these somewhat confusing, befuddling errors in the opening and in openings that she's not so familiar. And that's what may be the one thing that Carissa counts on. Make a couple of weird-looking kind of moves and see if she can find them. And there it is, e5 on the board. And we're now expecting the natural knight c6 also played, and black already in the driver's seat with a magnificent central formation.
Absolutely. I mean, the happy moves. Bishop to g4, bishop to c5. Castles, put your rooks in the center of the board.
Controlling the center, having space.
Absolutely.
It's the dream.
It is a dream. Now, from white's point of view, white has got to, it's got to get in c4, got to, but more or less prepare an answer for, I might start with e3. Not a move I'm very happy with, because if you'd like, you could coax a situation like this out of me where I've had to advance my
and weaken the
king side.
Yep.
Yeah, not my joy.
No.
I can
Not
put
what
it
we wanna
like
do.
that. But I have to play c4, and I think d4 is just too
Let's
strong
see.
an answer.
Oh, she goes c4 right away.
Wow. Well, she better have an answer for d4, because I can bet you dollars to donuts that d5, d4 is going to come from Carissa.
She'll probably play a3 with the idea of b4, right? That's the typical response?
Well, I don't know about that. It just feels like, wait a minute, what are you doing? Can I not, I mean, great, you get in b4, but look what I get in return here. I'm playing for e4 is what I'm playing for.
Oh, whoa.
Whoa,
She
big
took
shock.
and broke up her central duo.
How
and
did
that is a stunning decision. That's something that white would beg for, and now white's even better after the capture. That is shocking.
Yeah, we're all surprised by this move. None of us considered it. d4 was such an obvious choice.
Yeah. Actually, for me, that move is bad on several levels. And another one is actually just playing for initiative. Like these positions I know also from my Catalan days, my English is, they're really dangerous for black. Like, seriously. Your king is still on the center. Bishop on b2 is...
Both bishops are fantastic. Yeah, for white, yeah.
So, but also b takes.
I'm guessing Carissa's thinking that, okay, now white has a weakness on c4. Maybe I can win that pawn.
I think that's exactly what she's thinking, and that's unfortunate because she's, first of all, down in development. So she's going to have to fix her position. Like this position here, that's a pawn that white is intentionally sacking. You saw you can almost sack 2 pawns on that side. Every move you make, there's going to be a tempo, a knight d2 here. Where are you putting your bishop? There's no place to put it.
Yikes.
You're not playing b5 and letting it get captured and then a rook over. And literally, every single move you make, there's going to be an attack coming straight at you. And this pressure is, and she's played it.
She's played bishop e6. She's inviting knight g5, Maurice. I don't know. That d5 takes c4 was a dramatic change. The whole plans got ended after that move. I do not like this now for Carissa. After knight g5, what am I supposed to do? Yeah, you have to take the pawn on c4, but you're losing so much tempi after knight d2. Maurice, jump in. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, sorry. You can finish your point. The thing that sometimes what happens to e4 players, right? Carissa's an e4 player, yes?
Yes.
Sometimes what happens to e4 players is they don't trust the d pawn being the lead pawn, right? And that comes from when you play d4, you're used to playing the move d5 and having your pawn on, if black doesn't play like, for example, a King's Indian structure. Black is used to pushing the pawn to d5. And as a matter of fact, I'm thinking of it now, and it shouldn't be the case, but remember the last game where she could have played d5 herself?
Yes.
It's the same thing. That pawn on d4 going to d5. And now we have a reverse position where here she could have played d4, and it's that idea of the d pawn being the lead pawn. And to play that, if you're a d4 player, you're going to feel those positions extremely well. You're used to getting space against Benonis, against King's Indians, so many structures where you get to play d5 when your pawn's on e4 and your opponent is trying to chip away at it. And when you're comfortable dealing with those structures, you say, no, I got the space by, especially with a bishop on b2. No. When black has a bishop on b7, I played the Benoni, my bishop's stuck on b7, and white has that e4, d5 pawn formation. It's just, my bishop's being eaten up because of that pawn. So here you see this bishop being eaten up here by this pawn, and it's not easy without creating a weakness, some kind of move like e3, where you just create a permanent weakness in your position, and the bishop jumps out, and this kind of lovely setting happens. There's an unwillingness to go for a structure like this, even if the engine says this is okay for white. This kind of structure is what we would have liked to see is natural. This move and that, remember, white's king is well castled. We saw in the other game, your king is still stuck in the middle of the board. Queen a4, though, saying, I'm not giving you any pawns, I'm not even risking anything. That's that I don't need to risk anything attitude. You have to be a little careful that you don't end up in trouble playing a little too safe, needing a draw. Play the best move, knight g5. Now she's played queen a4. She still has an edge. It ain't bad.
She's attacking the pawn on e5.
Right, knight takes e5.
She's got this move under top. Almost forced, by the way. This move, I don't want to play it, but at least it has some kind of discovery feint in the position, and the bishop didn't belong there anyway. Let's see what Carissa does as she's burning clock now, down 5 minutes, and she has played this move, and the queen has dropped back to c2. A breather for a moment has Carissa, as this game is a little bit touch and go in the opening so far.
Well, the move queen c2 does have a very crystal clear point. Alice is looking to sally her knight to the d5 square. Knight c3, knight d5, and oftentimes this queen on c2 eyeballs the h7 pawn. I'm not saying knight g5 is going to be a checkmate, but with the queen on c7, getting the knight to d5 is really, really beneficial because you have that potential for a pin. So from my point of view, Alice maybe got tricked a little, but she's come back tremendously well. I actually like white's position. Despite her split queenside pawn structure, it's actually Alice has the better development, and she's ready to play knight d5.
I think Carissa's going to focus on winning that c4 pawn, so I'm expecting rook c8.
Okay, rook c8, very, very decent move.
Go ahead and play knight c3, then I will actually win that pawn.
With the
knight a5.
With the great knight a5.
But I am spending a lot of time just to take that pawn and leaving my king in the
center. And your king is still in the center, right?
Well, actually, I might have blundered, right? Knight e5 might work.
Ooh, what?
And then knight d5. I
Ooh,
mean, when the
what?
king's in the center and knight's on a5, something's got to work, right?
Yeah, so you think knight takes e5, queen takes e5. You might be
I
the
think I'm in
victim
trouble,
of a
yeah.
brilliancy. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Well, that's not good because basically you
F6.
just want to take.
And then queen c3, yeah.
And queen c3. Okay, I thought you were going queen e4 check, but okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Don't go pawn hunting.
Don't go pawn hunting. Maybe just develop the bishop and castle then.
But Alice is ready to rock knight c3. So if you develop the bishop and castle,
Instead of rook c8?
pardon me.
Say bishop c5, because I want to have a d4 square for
Fair.
my knight, maybe.
Okay.
But I also don't want to trade a lot of pieces. If I go knight d4, he'll take it immediately and play e3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
You-
knight d5 is coming. Trades are coming.
Exactly. Well, it's just this is the awkward one.
That's why Carissa's
especially.
taking so much time here. She wants to avoid trading pieces and walking into not even a drawish endgame. She'll be worse.
She'll be worse, no question about it. Absolutely, she will be worse. So the benefit of queen, it was funny in a certain way. Why didn't Alice play queen c2? Well, actually, the bishop's is kind of good on e6.
Exactly.
So
She made it worse first.
exactly,
Then went to c2.
and then retreated to c2. So
It's as though
Mhm.
if you go back to the position with the bishop on c8 before it went to e6, it's as though Alice played bishop d7 here.
And Carissa played bishop d7.
Sorry, Carissa played bishop d7 here, and White played queen c2. You'd be like, bishop d7?
Right.
Why would you play that and get me to play a free move like queen to c2?
Exactly.
So when she played bishop e6, queen a4, forcing her to go back, and now playing queen c2. And it's as though that's all that happened. And it's clear who has benefited. I'd rather have my queen on c2 with your bishop on d7. If you're going to force me, I'll say, sure, you want to play bishop d7 and you're telling me to play queen c2? We could do that because your bishop on d7 is just not a good piece.
Yeah, that's what I always love to express in the openings. You want your pieces on effective squares. And this is a textbook example of congratulations, you developed your bishop, but you did it on an ineffective square. Conversely, Alice has put her queen on c2, arguably not the greatest square, but it's an effective square. Knight c3 to d5, we already have spoken about the potential of knight g5 and queen h7. And I can tell from Carissa's clock, never mind her at the board, but her clock tells me she doesn't like the opening
No, absolutely
outcome.
not. And now she's trying to figure out a way to create an imbalance and some kind of chaos on the board. But White is in charge here. White will decide what kind of middle game they're going to have.
Actually,
Right.
I thought she was trying to just get her pieces out.
And she's trying to get her pieces out as well.
Just develop and hope that you're not getting smacked. Because, by the way, this bishop on d6 can also be hit by c5 at some point. So I think she was just, do I put it on c5? Do I put it on b4? Do I stay passive with e7? Oh, wait, knight c3, knight d5 is coming. How do I deal with the threats? And this last one, bishop d6, look at Alice. Again, you go into your 4-minute think. I play my move inside of 15 seconds. So much pressure she's putting on her opponent.
Yeah, the problem that Carissa is having is you like to challenge your opponent and say, solve this problem, solve this problem. Developing your knight to d5 is not a problem. Alice is saying, look, I'm putting my pieces on good squares. I don't know what's happening on your side of the table, but I can play knight c3, knight d5, sign me up. And right now, there's a problem.
There's a big problem. I think Carissa has to play this knight a5 move
Knight a5.
just to create some kind of chances for herself. Stopping knight d5 and wanting to take on c4. What do you do?
Yeah, stopping knight d5, I think, is
Key.
a very, very key thing here.
You could still trade via e4, knight e4.
Yes, that was on my agenda. Knight
But-
e4.
okay.
I want to take your bishop
I will take your knight and take the pawn on c4 with my queen.
with the queen.
Because if we go to the endgame, I'm up a pawn, I'm happy.
Okay.
Well, now I cry.
Well, at least you're not up
Oh,
on.
no.
She
No. Bishop has
played
moved
bishop
again.
back to e6.
No, that can't be right.
That-
Not moving twice.
That feels wrong. That's,
She felt the need to stop knight d5,
yes.
but
Now
doing
knight
it this
g5.
way is another tempo.
Oh, that's a cute move. So yeah, okay. So knight g5, bishop takes c4, knight e4.
Exactly,
Now
exactly.
you're picking up a really sweet tempo against. No, actually,
You take on
knight
e4.
takes on e4.
I'll have to take
Threatens knight takes. I thought you were going to take on c, but knight takes e4, knight takes e4.
Then I'm
Bishop
taking on
goes-
d6. Then I'm winning
And
tempo on
then
your
you're-
queen. And I'm taking on c6 probably and winning that pawn and trading everything, right?
Yes, 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 yes. Everything you said was just spot on, Nasi. Alice can play very, very consequent.
Knight g5, of
Actually-
course, not the only move. It looks like it's forcing a lot of trades, needs to be calculated. But she can make any useful moves here. Rook d1, rook a or fd1. I don't know what the
Yeah.
difference is at the moment. Both look wonderful.
Both look very, very good.
Let me
She
ask
is
you,
playing a
is
little fast,
Alice
though.
playing for maximum result now? Right? Is she thinking, okay, I'm not drawing, or I'm not even worried about that. I'm just going to go straight for you with obvious solid moves, but also aggressive moves. Put a rook in an open file. Think about sacking pawns. If she plays rook d1, that is cleanly, I am letting you take my pawn on c4. That is that kind of move. She plays knight g5, totally different attitude. Knight e4, totally different attitude. This is when we'll find out.
Knight
And she's
g5.
playing knight g5.
Wow.
That's how you play.
wow.
You say,
very, very
I
impressive.
want to draw, but I'm going to show you how I draw. I'm going to make you beg for the draw when we're done. Go ahead and take my pawn.
Wow. I think somebody told Alice that you were the highest rated rapid player in the United States, and she says, I can't stand for that.
Well, if that motivated her, great. I'm
Yeah,
happy for
yeah,
her.
happy to be the motivating factor. Okay, once again, bishop takes c4, and we jumped knight e4. Is there something knight b4? No.
No, queen c4,
Queen
right?
takes c4.
No, that's...
Oh boy,
Gotta show that line, yes.
got to show the line. Whoop. Actually, I think we've seen this types of royal forks.
Here? In the American Cup?
I was going to say, was this some Sav? No. No, it wasn't
Oh,
a
there was like
Saviano.
Fabiano Mishra game.
There was something.
There was something like that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's day 10. It's the end of a long tournament for us. No rest for the weary. And no, come on. When Carissa played the move bishop c8 to e6 to d7 back to e6, she clearly wanted to play bishop c4.
I mean,
Now that she's hesitating, it's a sign.
it's a sign. Black's only played 14 moves, and 3 of them were bishop
With her
d7 and
bishop.
e6 back and forth.
Yeah. Now
She's got to take the pawn.
like-
And knight e4 instantly replied by Alice.
Alice is impressing each and every time, because she's really, really playing exactly the kind of position she wants. Knight takes e4, knight takes e4,
The bishop has moved 5 times now.
bishop goes back to e6, and everything you said is coming to pass. Now see, she's going to get the tempo with rook to d1. She's going to get the tempo with bishop takes e6.
By the way, I think
No, no, no,
White
no,
can
no.
play for a win here. Rook d1.
Which rook?
Rook a. Let's say a. When you go queen
Wrong
c7.
rook.
When you go queen c7 to keep the c6 protected, I go bishop a3. How do you castle?
That is
I'm
a
crying.
problem. And she's chosen rook fd1, the most natural move. And now bishop a3 and say, guess what I'm playing for?
Queen's on c7 already?
The
Yeah.
queen has returned.
Or queen
Bishop-
c5 will do the job as well. How is Black supposed to survive this?
Bishop
Queen
a3 is so much more natural,
C5,
though. Queen c5 does look extremely strong.
f6.
Because queen c5 threatened bishop e5 as well. Let's show that tactic.
Oh,
If you play h6 or something, some bad move.
oh, nasty! You're a mean person, and your intention is to go bishop takes
She's
c6.
played
And
queen
she's
c5.
played it.
Dang.
This Alice Lee character. watch out.
She's on fire today.
Whole
Wow.
world better watch out. When she gets her opening nuances just right, she's gonna be so deadly. I mean, give her a good position, and she just flows, and she's playing amazing chess today. This is crazy.
We could ask her what was her prep, because whatever she did, clearly this is different Alice. That she played well yesterday too, but today this is her best form.
America has a bright future. Alice Lee at 16 years old. I mean, a three-peat winner? Whew.
Incredible.
If she keeps her nerves,
Rook C8 is on the board.
we do have Queen C5, and the move, to my eyes, the move Queen C5 is trapping the king, and that was why I was playing F6 and King F7. Carissa saying, okay, I see your threat, bishop takes E5, but I don't want to weaken the bishop. So she's played...
Rook D6 looks very strong here.
yeah, that...
But Alice has so many options here that she might not choose Rook D6. Rook AC1 still looks good.
Rook AC1 looks fabulous. Actually, is there a bad move?
By the way,
I
she
mean,
has almost 10-minute advantage on the clock as well.
wow.
Look,
Not
I
that-
hesitated with the move Rook D6 because I didn't want castles to happen. But as you look down the line, castles runs into Bishop C6 and Queen E5,
Precisely.
and goodbye.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So that means you can't even castle. If you can't castle, then yeah, let's put the Rook on D6.
You're crying.
You are in tears. Can I play? Now I'm trying. This is what I meant by make them beg for the draw. You need to play. Yeah, I want to draw, but guess what you're going to do? You're going to give it to me because I'm going to play the moves. Look, she just sacked a pawn effortlessly. Yeah, I'm sacking. No problem. Look at my great position. Whenever you're ready to ask me for the draw, I'll consider it, but I'll get back to you on that one, okay? That's how she's playing right now. Tremendous. This is champion's attitude written all over it. Again, once she fixes some of the nuanced understanding of the opening, just hand her the GM title and beyond. She's just a star in the making, if not already.
Wow. No, she's been a star.
Since she was 12.
She's played in every one of these finals. She lost twice against Irene Krush. She's won twice against Irene Krush.
And Tatev Abraham.
And, pardon me, once against Irina and once against Tatev. Correct. Thank you for the correction. Sorry, Tatev. Do not be angry with me.
And now she's playing against Carissa, and all she needs is a draw with the white pieces. But
To
right now,
clinch.
she has a great position. Normally, Carissa would be happy to make a draw in this position.
Right.
Rook D6 is not on the
Oh,
board yet.
excuse me. I
Are
mean,
we-
that's a move. But yes, Rook C1, Rook A1, C1. The problem is Bishop takes C6 is also very attractive. Again,
Right
from
now?
the perspective, I need a draw
That's true.
from a position of strength like this, you know. But Rook D6, if you prefer Rook D2 and Rook to D1, doubling on the open file,
But here's the
everybody
thing.
loves you. Yep.
Here's the thing that I think is holding her back. She sees Rook D6. There's no question she sees it. The thing she has to confirm is that castles is not playable. And that shouldn't take her that long to confirm that it's not playable because you just win a piece instantly because after queen takes, you have to play F6, and there goes your bishop on E6. So she's confirming that. She may be looking at Rook C1, and then she sees F6 instead of Rook D6. Okay, if I don't play Rook D6, I play Rook C1. She sees F6.
And then take on C6, and that's it. How can white possibly lose that position, right?
Yeah. You're not
No.
losing.
You're asking the wrong question. It's
How
not how
does-
can white lose the position. Wrong question, Nazi. It's how are we winning the position? You want to play the best move. You're not playing for a draw. You don't want to just trade down and get to some random position. You want to optimize your chances and you play the best move. You're trying to win. You're trying to get them to beg you for the draw. And Rook D6 has that kind of statement earmarked all over it. Now,
Maybe she's concerned about Queen E7. Is that anything? Queen E7 pinning the rook?
Queen E7.
Because earlier I thought he would just take on C6, but now I noticed it doesn't work.
I have a very, very nasty response to Queen E7. You're not going to like this one bit.
Yeah,
Bishop
that ends it.
A3.
That shuts it down.
Because I'm ready to play rook takes C6 suddenly.
I just have to resign here, yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's really gross. So no queen E7 as an answer to rook D6. And I'm looking. I'm sorry for Carissa's fans, but I don't see an answer. Rook D6, in case you played knight D4, this is not lasting whatsoever. King
H1 even.
King H1, queen takes G7, rook takes E6, queen takes E2. It's all coming up roses for Alice.
That's what she's looking at and confirming all black responses to make sure she can get away with this move, because it is absolutely such a devastating move. She also has so much extra time on her clock. And she has traded on C6. After all that, she has gone for a trade that simply maximally equalizes the position. And as a matter of fact,
Why didn't she trade queens, though?
that
don't
was
know.
not a great decision at all to make. This one, she hopes she doesn't regret this one in time. Bishop F7, and you don't keep the king in the center, the king leaves.
Oh, wait, she has queen F5 after bishop F7, and if you castle, there is rook C1. Trading everything.
That is a nice
Unless you have
liquidation.
bishop C4. No, bishop C4 I take and rook C1.
Actually, that's remarkable. You play bishop C4, you take on C4,
She's played queen G4 now.
and rook
I guess with the same idea.
Told you, Maurice. Unfortunately, you were right that yes, white should be playing for a win, but it's in your head that you only need a draw.
Queen G4.
It's just
Castles is on the board, and we're expecting the move rook C1.
You can't shake that.
yeah, but
well,
you need to.
Yes, you're
And
right.
a very quick queen E6. By the way, there was a move H5 if Carissa had paused.
H5.
Oh.
Yes, H5. Black is starting to get some. Black has a 2-to-1 majority, by the way, on the other side of the board.
Yeah, just in passing, right?
Yes, and trying to. This is not how you do it. Trying to make this draw. Now she's played passively. There is a two against one. Black is no longer lost, and guess what? Even though it's better, it's a essentially more or less even position. Black has no reason not to play for the next 40 moves. I keep a pair of rooks on the board.
Right.
Maybe, yeah, I can't avoid it because you have rook c7. I
You
keep a
should
pair
go
of
to
rooks on the board, and I try to outplay you in an endgame. We're only going to trade one pair of rooks, but I try to outplay you in a long, drawn-out ending.
I don't know.
That was
Rook D8.
I don't know, Maurice. This looks so dry. This looks incredibly dry to my
True,
eyes.
Yasser,
Rook
but
takes, rook takes.
Carissa was completely lost. So
Correct.
compared to that, this is
Let me
incredible.
be clear. This is Carissa's dream. Like, before she wins the game, she'd better equalize it.
Yeah.
She's got the equality, but the chances of winning this bishops of opposite color. I'm not playing E4, by the way. I'm
F3,
just
right?
playing F3,
King
King F2, G4, H4, and I'm waiting for you to use your majority on the queen side to trade a pair of pawns. Yeah, you can get your pawn to B3. Good for you.
And the key here will be for Alice not to end up in time trouble.
Yeah. Alice knew she was better. She just didn't realize how
much better she
much
was.
better rook D6 was for her. Now she's kind of seized the defensive, if you will, a little bit. And, well, I think with the move A2, A3, she reconciled herself that she's going to have to play a long ending, just as Maurice was mentioning. She went rook takes D8. That's surprising. Let me do that.
She's not going to allow rook D2. She played bishop C3. And the setup will be same, F3, King F2.
F3, King F2 for sure, 100% in every case. Okay.
She's also stopping the queenside pawns, right? Because Carissa wants to create a passer with B5, A5, B4, but that's not going to be easy to do now with the bishop on C3.
Fair. Okay.
by the way, we
I'll
know
go with
that this is
yes.
we know that this is very even.
Dry.
Right, and even dry. So she may have successfully navigated the draw type position she was looking for.
Right.
But let me ask you, if we go back to the position I have here as we keep our eye on the board, this move H5, if Carissa had paused and played H5, what do you do here with white as this piece lands on the board?
Queen F5 maybe?
Queen F5, and then there's this possibility, two possibilities, Bishop C4.
Wasn't this rook takes C4 and rook C1 business?
Bishop C4, queen taking this
G4.
move?
That's the inclusion of H5.
H5 allows you queen G4.
Yep.
Nice. And that extra
Yes.
H5 move, yes.
This keeps everything on the board. There's also this move.
To keep what? Oh,
Eyeing the
D1.
rook on D1. You're not trading off all the pieces.
Gotcha.
And now we're in a different kind of ball game with your pawn on A2 hanging. You've got to pay attention. This is a much sharper position. This is the opportunity that Carissa missed, that she did not press pause right here. When Queen G4 happened, she kept playing quickly with Alice and just said, yeah, I only got one move. Let me just play it. And she actually had different moves. She had Bishop C4. She had here she had H5. She had Bishop E6. She just agreed to this endgame immediately. And now Alice is back on track after Bishop to C3 with a position that's going to be extraordinarily difficult to make any headway at all. But the game continues.
Indeed it does. F2, F3, B7, B6, an indication that we're aspiring for A5. And it's going to be very, very hard
It's going
to
to take a lot of temping.
Yeah, but only because Bishop H3 and the background checkmate worries me.
Uncomfortable.
I'm playing F3 and King
Definitely.
F2 in a heartbeat. I'm not even hesitating. And there we go. Alice is saying, let me get my king nice and comfy. Once my king is nice and comfy, by the way, then I'll look to activate my pieces with the move rook to B1. Again, Carissa, in a must-win situation, there's not enough spice in the position for her to play with here. This is just...
Well, she's going to have to pull a Magnus.
Keep playing and playing.
If
Keep
she
playing
does pull
and
it off,
playing
though.
and hope. She's going to
It would
also
be
have to get her
incredible.
opponent some issue on the clock as well.
Okay, by the way, I noticed for the first time that the move B6 has encouraged me to play rook C6.
Absolutely. I like
So,
that Bishop E1.
Bishop E1, just tucking the bishop away from any, we called those moves Karpovian, by the way, because Anatoly Karpov had a way of hiding his pieces so that they could never get attacked.
And then
Bishop
activate your
E1
rook.
And activate your rook. Ideally, you would prefer to play bishop to D2, activate your rook, and then play bishop to E3. There's one small drawback to bishop D2, which will hurt your feelings. It would get captured. So bishop
Well,
E1.
she could start with King E3, but I like Bishop E1. It looks passive, but you're actually activating your rook.
Exactly.
And,
And
she's
here he
touching it.
goes. Here we go. Bishop E. Same idea. She first wants to coax A5. So A5, bishop E1,
Well, maybe include the check, rook C7.
or include the check.
Yeah,
That's a
and then
very
maybe you
good
can even
move.
play Bishop E7.
By
I
the
don't know
way.
if it's scary to allow rook D2.
Yeah, that's a very good move by Alice. I mean, she's not giving Carissa anything to play for in this ending. Great rook is coming. A white rook is going to
But
land.
I still wouldn't count Carissa out yet. Just because I've seen Magnus pull off such wins from 000
I know.
opposite color bishop in games that it can happen.
Wow, Magnus is probably all embarrassed that this is what he's known for. He's got this great
He's known for
legacy
many things,
of,
but-
of winning every kind of tournament, and what we remember him for is grinding out wins from drawn positions.
Not a bad thing to be remembered for. And I mean, if Alice had less time, then I would say Carissa would have even better chances. But Alice keeps her clock ahead on the clock, 14 minutes against 8.
By the way,
C6 is looking good.
Rook C6. Don't ask twice about such an opportunity of
Probably rook b7, bishop d6. If I trade the rooks, it's just over, right? There's
Totally.
nothing.
100%. So just as Nasi was saying, if you get a chance to play rook to c7, that is just
That does force the trade. And that's
dead,
it.
dead.
So if you can play rook b7, I mean, you can't give up the pawn. Do you have any kind of b5?
A5 doesn't change matters
a5,
at
bishop
all.
c3 maybe also works, yeah.
No,
Or bishop
well,
d6.
bishop to d6.
Well,
and-
I was worried about b5, but you'll still trade the rooks, even though black pawns are advanced, of course.
Exactly. The pawns are so slow. I can even play like this.
Alice
Okay.
is
That ending
very
it will be a
close.
draw. Looks as though
She's
trying to find a way to keep something cooking, but she missed her chance. And I have to say, Carissa wasn't hyper sharp or hyper vigilant today. The chance to play bishop takes e4 and play d5 in the first game.
Yep.
And then here, keeping that tension with d4 earlier, but also when she did have a chance to play h5 when Alice let her back in the game. But boy, Alice is saying, you don't play top-notch moves, I'm going to get you. I'm going to come get you. And now bishop d6, that
Yes.
should almost be a flick of the wrist to put that move on the board. And hard to see how she stops rook to c7.
Yep. Bishop d6. Although, as we were mentioning a moment ago, just humor me. Give me a move, Bishop.
Rook b7, I have to play.
Oh, why did I?
Bishop c3, right?
Bishop
So you can go
c3, of course.
Yeah, yeah.
I apologize. Why did I?
Rook b7 still.
Rook and now
Bishop d4,
Bishop
b5,
d4.
and rook b6, right?
and
Yep.
rook a6.
Why not b6? Force the trade.
Both ways.
b4 now.
Both ways. I'm a pawn
Oh, you
grabber.
will b3, but here you don't trade the rook, so it's something.
I don't know.
Rook
if it's-
c7. I wouldn't want to play this.
Don't wanna
I'm
play
sure
it.
it's still a draw, but no, I'm not touching this.
Agreed. I would. You convinced me. A5 on the board. We're looking at. We think bishop d6 is the automatic, and that's what we would be doing, and pressing the "Would you like a draw" button after rook c7. But we're
Bishop
also
c3
looking
also
at
looks-
bishop c3
Very good.
as sufficient.
I think her minor concern about bishop d6, b5, rook c7 is that black can actually create a passer, but it's a passer that's easily controlled. And so, yeah, I think she's taken enough time to figure out that this one, yes, you do get a pass pawn, but it's only one passer, and
There we
the
go.
king is way
b5
too
on the board.
close. The bishop will
B5 on
be
the
able to
board,
handle that
sorry.
as well. You just can't make any headway on the other side of the board. You need another piece.
Right.
Bishop alone is not going to be enough. So Alice Lee, whew, this
Impressive.
game, we might have wanted to see her knock her out, but Alice said, listen, calmate,
Yeah.
relax. I'm just going to make this draw and win this tournament and do it for the third time in a row.
Remarkable. Rook c7 is actually not going away. Alice could even consider
Really?
the move king e3.
Free
You-
tempo. Well,
King's a little closer to
King
the center.
g6.
Not
just to avoid-
exactly what you wanted to do,
No.
right?
But as long as Carissa can try to keep more pieces on the board, she will. She has to. So I think Alice is going for rook c7 right away. Why complicate things at all?
Just humor me. That's a bishop.
Bishop d5 maybe?
Humor me.
And
That's a
b4 now.
b4 now, yeah.
I mean, it's still a draw, but I kept the rooks on the board.
True.
Oh, b3, this is scary. Your bishop's hanging. So bishop's 4, yeah.
I thought your bishop was hanging too, but yeah. Oh, sorry. Rook c7. No king e3. We're
Mhm.
expecting rook c7 and forcing the draw that way.
Isn't it a surprising moment that she's stopping now to think about rook c7?
Sometimes you
bit.
just got to enjoy the moment. She is so close to claiming her third
There she goes.
title in a row, and she did it. Rook c7. By the way, I'd probably give a check
Yeah, absolutely. Give a check and go back.
Yes.
Of course.
Check.
So you don't take with a tempo on D7.
And I could also
I mean, king
snuggle,
comes out. Yes.
smuggle.
It's going to give a
check.
check.
There she goes. Alice is playing brilliant.
Carissa knows this game is almost over and her chances of winning
gone.
American Cup is pretty much gone.
Rook d8. Okay, we are trading rooks and we are playing bishop to f8.
Not playing
Which
king
is-
e3?
Yeah, it's kind of a tempo I like. Just
Provoking
wanna-
g5?
Yeah, or
So you can easily trade more pawns, of course.
precisely.
Technique.
Technique. And putting the king in a very nice way on d4 as well, right? Okay, she could start with king e3 too. And by the way, not even getting in b4.
I feel like there are no bad moves here unless you blunder.
Right. Actually, e2, e4, not bad. e2, e4 as well. And then putting the king on d4 makes perfect sense.
Just no matter what you do not go down to like 1 minute.
We have
Because
seen
then anything can
tragedy
Yeah.
after the 1 minute time scrambles.
You can hang your bishop and
Ugh.
absolutely insane things can happen. So
Right.
Now she's forcing the pawns onto light squares because you don't want to put that pawn on a g5. And
Right.
The 6 pawn is
King
curtailed.
comes to d4, dominates the majority, the queenside majority for Carissa.
and
g6. and
Carissa
now
really
king e-
wants to have a passer, but b4 is not even an option. She
No.
can't force b4.
Exactly.
She needs to be able to pick her king out from d7, does Carissa, and put it on c4. Just pick it up and put it there. Just could you? The one time in a game you get like the hyperspace move and just drop it all the way in the position, but she can't even make any progress to get the king there because the pawn on e4 stops the king and the bishop on f8 stops the king from getting to c5, and there's just no way to be active with this piece. Meantime, White's king can just stroll right into the middle of the board, say no problem.
Exactly. And that's exactly what Alice is about to do, is stroll
b4?
into the middle of the board and then play f4 and maybe on a good day get her majority working with f4.
Bishop c5. She can just move back and forth with that bishop. Doesn't even need to push any pawns. Unless Carissa attacks one of them like bishop e2, then you can play
Right.
f4. Or even drop, no, I wouldn't go king e3, f4.
f4 for
That's
sure.
it, no weak pawns for white.
Exactly.
g5.
Okay. I'm definitely all about f4. By the way, something to be said for bishop b6 too, especially
a4.
when
Bishop's
you,
on c4, right?
when your bishop is on c4.
Absolutely, I would play bishop b6 just to force a4.
Exactly.
She can hear us.
We will whisper from now on. And bishop will come back to c5, and that basically just finito, no more majority because the blockade is too strong.
Bishop d8 was also interesting, but
Bishop
you want to
D8.
make sure she can't play b4 in some
Anywhere, yeah.
funny moment. But that was
I
definitely a
would
thought
play
as
f4
well.
here, maybe?
I'd take it.
Oh, just take it. Yeah.
Absolutely
Well, I
take
don't want
it
to
and
leave
play
the pawn on
f4.
h2 all by itself, but yeah, black king is never making it to h3.
Not
so.
even close. Take
Yeah.
it, play f4, and just shut it down. Next
That's it.
move is to play f5. F5 check, and
And
then
then just move the bishop back and
Exactly.
forth. This is it. Guys, who picked Alice?
Well,
Oh,
let me
boy.
guess. It would have to be my brilliant co-host, or rather, my brilliant host. I'll take that.
Right, f5.
F5.
Carissa knows the inevitable. She has to cede this championship to her best friend. And here it comes. No way to make progress anywhere. Where is the hope? If she could teleport to G2, there she goes, trying to get there. No, 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 my friend. We're not giving you anything.
Whoa.
You're just giving
Oh.
up f4, yeah.
What a move. I would have played bishop e7.
You don't give up any pawns.
I don't give up the pawns, but what a move. Okay, well, you take on f4,
And, then
and
just
Alice is going to
shuffle.
play king g1. And her next moves are bishop to b4, to f8, to b4.
Zero improvement here for black.
Absolutely. You can put your pawn on h3, but that's it. You've maximized.
This might be an exception where white played for a draw and it worked.
Yeah. True. You're not
Because usually that's not a good strategy.
Yeah, you're not often rewarded by playing for a draw.
This is as anemic as it gets now in this position for black, as you cannot do anything to eject the king from g1, the pawn from h2, and that bishop has the whole diagonal to play with. f8, e7, d6, c5, b4, depending on where you choose, the bishop will just dance back and forth, taunting black. Now it's time to look for a repetition, as there's no way to win this game anymore at all. Not even a simple try is possible.
Now see, how close is Alice to you in the number one rate?
The closest is
for
Carissa.
rapid? Yeah.
There's 30-point difference between me and Carissa.
But Carissa's going to go down
Yes.
with a loss and a
And
draw.
Alice does have 20K maybe, so I'm not sure. But
You're
she
feeling the
deserves
heat.
it. The way she played today.
You're right. She did deserve it. I'm a little surprised we're not seeing bishop e7. Not that it's important in any way, shape, or form. But I kind of would like to encourage the pawn to go to h3
Why?
so that I could put my king on g3.
This
I'm
is
a
so
pawn grabber.
yes.
Come on, you got to be true to your nature. You
Look at
gotta be-
Carissa looking up, and she
Alice
just
is
has
saying,
to
I'm not even
accept.
going to go after your e7 pawn because
Is she putting the bishop on
Alright.
every square she can? What's up with this?
Seems that way. King is on f3?
I think it is on f3, but
on its way to e4,
Okay, now don't blunder the bishop on c5.
right? So long.
now it's a little bit of a joke between friends.
Okay.
Alice is going to gain 20 minutes on the clock, by the way.
Yes.
She's playing so fast.
Look at Carissa. She is smiling as she's looking up at the move number as she does this.
Are they going
You
to play
see.
50 moves?
I don't know.
They might.
And Alice is not even
they're
considering bishop
smiling.
to e7.
Now Alice is smiling. What is the deal? We're up to move 68.
Okay.
I mean, the black king might as well waltz over to a1 if she's going to do this.
So a draw. Alice finally stops and says, have we reached... now you see this
Oh, it's
is
checked. She made an illegal move.
Illegal move.
Illegal move. Whoop. 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Said my bad.
2 minutes. she was moving her
And
bishop.
now Alice is laughing.
Alice is, Maya says, okay, ladies, 2 minutes bonus for Alice. Now, this is my point. I've mentioned this before. Is you claim a draw. You say, I claim a threefold repetition. And they go, no, you don't have it. Well, can I claim a 50 move? No, you don't have. How many more moves do I have to make? It just
This-
alerts you, right?
I think
These
they're
two
20
more
moves
moves.
away, yes.
Well, in 10 of them, we're going to see h4, h3.
Unreal. Why does she keep
Oh
doing
my
the
God,
same
if she
king moves,
pushes
though?
b4 before the move 50,
There you go.
Oh, no,
That's
please.
why I would put my king on g3 now.
No,
Yes, stop
she
moving
played
the bishop.
h3, so it starts all over.
oh yeah, she moved the h pawn.
Yeah,
That's what
now
I'm
it's now
saying.
we're back to what move 88. We go to 138.
I think Alice is going to claim, but
No,
she forgot
no.
that h pawn move.
No, she's counting. The last move was h3. So she's saying from h3 plus 50, how
It's
many moves?
138.
But put the bishop on b4, otherwise b4 is coming as well, and you have to do another 50 moves.
That's right.
And
Yeah,
just
I
move
would
your
put
king.
I'd be moving my king in that case. You're right.
All right, they might reach 200 moves.
What?
Yep,
No, they can't reach the 200.
they can because b4 still hasn't been played yet.
And now she moved her king to f2, so no 3-4 repetition.
Correct. King to g3, correct. And now bishop to b4, and you move your king
No,
back and
she
forth.
wants to allow b4.
But if you put your bishop on b4 and you move your king, then
No.
you'll never get to play
Oh,
b4.
yeah.
I know, but Alice wants to allow Carissa to play before.
Okay.
That's the point.
Okay. Wow.
And it looks as though
Okay,
Alice.
finally they are going to accept a draw.
I don't believe it until I see a handshake.
Make the claim, Alice, and then you can.
I
I'm
think
going
she's
to
claiming
play.
now.
Yeah. She says, Maya, I'm
Bishop
going to play
E7.
bishop e7, and I'm claiming a draw. Is it valid? Yes.
Force the arbiter to do some work.
The arbiter is
As
going
they
to
yuck it
confirm
up.
that that is a valid claim. We have a champion,
Yes,
and
we
it
do.
didn't require blitz.
Congratulations to Alice Lee,
Wow.
winning the American Cup 3 times in a row.
Incredible
A
result.
three-peat. Bravo, bravo, Alice. And for Carissa, that missed opportunity in game 1, not taking and playing d5, that hurts because that was her
She
wheelhouse.
pretty much never recovered from that.
Absolutely.
Alice never gave her a chance.
Absolutely. Our applause too.
Yeah, champion. I have to just emphasize, she was 14 when she won it the first time. She was 15 when she won it the second time. Now a 16-year-old winning the championships 3 times in a row against the best U.S. women in these here United States. She takes home a ton of money. Were you taking on this kind of money at 16, yes?
Stop it.
Oh my
Stop
goodness.
it.
Just absolutely incredible what she has done. What a star. She's already a star, but I'm looking ahead at the GM title and beyond. What is her full potential? We don't know, but she is showing that she has a whole bunch of it.
Wow, and look at that prize money as we see the final standing. Now, when I was 16, if I had $10 in my pocket, I was feeling on top of the world. We're we're about to see the final standings for women with all the prize money breakdown, but $49,000 richer. Congratulations, Alice Lee. She did it the hard way. If you say Carissa, the number 1 seed, she beat the number 1 seed
Many
twice.
times. She had to do it twice and play Carissa so many times. This is the final standings. Alice Lee is the champion, taking home $49,000.
Wow.
In second, it's Carissa Yip. In third, Tatev Abrahamian. And in fourth, a newcomer, Anna Sargsyan.
Congratulations again, Alice Lee, as we get prepared to give you your trophy, your nice little bracelet, your winner's bracelet, as well as perhaps the check. Wow,
Absolutely.
$49,000.
But
Nice.
what did we see
How
at
many
the end?
games
They
did
were
they-
just having fun?
Yeah, how
Do you
many
think-
games in total
I
did
think
they play against
played
each other?
11 or 12 games.
So they played 7 yesterday, right?
They played 7 yesterday. They
5
played the
plus 2.
classical first time, and there was a blitz playoffs of 4.
4 in the first match.
So that's 11.
Yeah.
And today 2, so 13 total.
Wow.
in one tournament.
13.
Sometimes
Well-
it's at that point you get tired of playing the same opponent, you know? It's hard to come up with the openings you can play. Just don't want to see them anymore.
Well, imagine Kasparov's lament. Kasparov playing like 120 plus games in World Championship match against Anatoly Karpov. He's like, he comes to the game, he's a little bit tired, he just shaved, he looks across the board. Am I looking in the mirror? I've seen you so
Yeah.
much. I think.
But
he's
that
like
took
my
time,
perpetual-
you know? This
a
all happened
perpetual
in
opponent. Yeah.
less than 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Playing this many games in two weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, these two, we're going to see them face each other
Battles.
for decades to come.
Absolutely, battles to come for sure. As again, our congratulations to Alice. She gets the job done in the rapid.
And Maurice is with our winner, Alice Lee.
We are with the 3-time champion of this event, back-to-back winner of the American Cup. Congratulations, Alice.
Thank you so much.
By the way, your bestie, she won 3 U.S. championships in a row. Did you want to replicate that so that you could do the same thing in the American Cup?
Yeah, actually, she won the past 3 U.S. championships. I won the past 3 American Cup. So it seems like we both have our events that we've been like winning.
You guys are running the show here in the U.S. It's really terrible. I think we have a little bit of audio issue right now. We're going to try to fix. I think your mic might be upside down. We need a tech person to come on in
Yeah,
here.
we're going to fix
her up.
Alice's mic.
And do that all over again?
Yeah, of course. Just the winner, she gets 2 interviews.
She does indeed.
In the meantime, let's see what's coming up next. The American Cup might be over, but right after this,
The candidates.
and we're going to have this show called Today in Chess, Candidates Edition. Will start March 29th, go all the way till April 15, and you can watch it online on St. Louis Chess Club, YouTube, and Twitch.
Let's jump back to Maurice with our new champion.
Yes, of course, we want to hear from our champion, Alice Lee. Once again, congratulations.
Yeah,
That little
thank you.
audio issue, we apologize. I said 3 times for Carissa, now 3 times for you. The two of you are smiling, really good friends. How does it feel winning 3 times in a row?
Yeah, it feels really great. Like, especially after yesterday's match, when I seemed to be in control, but then somehow things just slipped away. Like, it just feels like great to like be able to come back and win today.
Fantastic. Now, let's talk about yesterday a little bit. Yesterday was crazy. You win, then she wins, then you win, and you're like, I just gotta close it out. Then she wins
Yeah.
again in the Armageddon. What were you thinking when you went to bed last night?
I mean, I do think that I was helped by the fact that she just played well in the games that, like, she came back to win. Like, I didn't really have any chances. She was quite convincing in those wins. And Armageddon, of course, I had to win, and I just had no chance to. So, you know, I thought that she deserved to win the match yesterday. I think she just played better, and she was able to keep her nerve. So, like, today I just thought, like, okay, I can play against her again, and it would be another interesting match.
It was an interesting match indeed, and very good attitude. I got to say, this game, there was one moment in the game, I'm not sure if you saw it, that you could have been in trouble. It's right here we have on screen where she could have, instead of this rook c1 move, she could have taken and played d5. Did you notice this at the board, or were you worried about it at all?
I knew, like, she could always take and play d5, but I wasn't too concerned. I think I just didn't really, like, calculate it that much. I would probably have, like, taken, and then after queen takes... It's just, yeah, I guess she's just taking on my pawn. She plays e6 next, so it's kind of concerning. But yeah, I did not really, fortunately, consider that.
You did not worry about it. That's good.
Yeah.
She could have given somebody a heart attack. Later, though, you, instead of her getting that breakthrough, we saw you get ready to trade queens in this position. It was a fantastic moment we saw. And then the real moment, this move. She could have played d5. You got to play d4.
Yeah.
You were playing so quickly here, like you just knew you had to do these kinds of moves.
Yeah, I mean, I saw after knight takes d4, rook d8, I feel like my position is very good. I saw she has to do knight takes c6 and rook takes c2, knight takes b8, go into this endgame. I thought at the very least I can just chase her bishop around and I have a draw, but I thought also I'm probably pressing here.
Okay, looks tricky from the engine standpoint here because of rook back at like 97 in this position, but that was a chance for her. Instead, she played this move, and we all were stunned by this beautiful move. You must have felt really good playing it.
Yeah, actually, I was considering like what she could do instead of taking, because I thought like if she didn't take on c6, like she has to move her queen, but then she doesn't have very many squares, and then I was a bit worried about that. But then I realized, yeah, rook takes d4, I should just be winning. Like my position is just so solid with the knights, and I should just take all of her pawns.
And that's exactly what happened, and you cruised through with this game. Now, the next game, there was a question about attitude. You need to make a draw. You know you need to make a draw with white. How do you play such a position? What's your mindset? Because you ended up getting a fantastic position. When you played the move queen c5, you sacked a pawn. That's not a player trying to make a draw anymore. But you had this opportunity to play rook d6, and you backed away from it.
Yeah, I mean, in general, I think like I just have to play. Although, like, for this game, obviously, I was okay with the draw. So when I saw that, like, we could go to the end game and I should be able to hold as long as I have enough time on my clock. So, yeah, but I did have a must-draw situation as white in the blitz yesterday. And I think I played a bit too much for a draw, and eventually she was able to take over. So, yeah, I don't know. I was just playing the opening. I thought, like, my position was good. And then I can always, like, try to force a draw if worse comes to worse.
All right, wow. worst didn't come to worst. You were fine. You won. You're the champion. And we have your trophy. And that is, oh, no, sorry. This is a Q Boutique gift for winning.
Thank you.
Here's your gift from Q Boutique. You may take that out as the winner of the day. And it looks like your very own chess set, metal pawn shop. Okay. Yeah, looks cute. You know what? That looks cute. That's nice. But what we really have for you for the winner is this magnificent bracelet from Tiffany and Company. Don't let me drop it. Be careful. Show it to the fans and the audience out there. And just beautiful bracelet that Wesley So also won. Yeah. That is yours to keep forever.
Thank you so much.
And once again, congratulations. Any thoughts for people who helped you or on the tournament itself, the organizers as such?
Yeah, I feel like this tournament I have a lot of people to thank. First and foremost, of course, the St. Louis Chess Club for organizing this event, Rex and Jeannie Sinkfield. Also, like, everybody who made this possible, like the TDs, Chris and Maya, the commentary team, you, Maurice, Yasser, and Nazi.
Thank you.
And especially thank you to Nazi for choosing me as her pick.
Oh, you knew that, huh?
Yeah. Also, thank you to the photographers and to like the camera crew and everybody who made this possible, and also a lot of people working behind scenes to just run the show. Also to the people that helped me during the tournament and just have been very supportive in general. So my family, my friends, my teachers back at school for like being very generous and allowing me to focus on this tournament. Also a thank you to Chess Kid and the Kasparov Chess Foundation for like supporting me for like I think more than half a decade now, both of them. And I have a lot of more people that I probably can thank, but I think that's everybody I can think of for now. And of course, there's a lot that I am really grateful for.
And we're grateful to you for being such a fine champion. And at 16 years old, I don't need to tell you that not a lot of people who have risen to your level at this point. We're looking forward to seeing what you become. Once again, humbly, congratulations. You are the champion for a third time in a row.
Yeah, thank you.
Guys, young lady's a champ. Incredible feats. First place 3 times in a row at 16 years young.
Congratulations, Alice Lee, and to all of our competitors.
These are our final standings. Congratulations, Alice, Carissa, and Tata finishing top 3.
Absolutely. The final standings in the open section. There you have them.
Congratulations again, Wesley So, Livon Aronian, and Fabiano Caruana finishing top 3.
And our heroes, our champions. We've got beautiful smiles. Check out
Wesley is the first-time winner of the American Cup.
That's true.
He will be back next year trying to duplicate it, win it again.
Defend his title and
on the other hand, Alice is the repeat champion already. Absolutely incredible result for a 16-year-old.
Seriously, and she said, "Thank you, Nasi, for choosing me." And look at that.
I believed in her. I'm a big fan of Alice.
Wow.
And she delivered.
Actually, when I look at that, you're the only one
I'm the only one.
Wow,
this is the first time I've won.
Yasser, stop it.
That's why.
Stop it.
That's why I have as a hostess.
Let's talk. Let's talk to VAR. He chose a finalist. I chose a finalist. You're the only one who didn't choose anybody who even made it close. My friend. You were this close.
But I chose the winner.
I knew that was coming. You get the final words, final thoughts, because this was your first commentary gig in ages.
Well, let me tell you, I am absolutely impressed by the youngster at 16, the calm, the poise, so articulate and humble, and talking about school. I'm grateful to my teachers. And she's 16 years old, and she just won 3 in a row. No one, not in the Open, not in the women, except her, of course, has won 3 times. I'm stunned, and I'm so thankful to be able to see this happen, because what is she going to be in 2 years' time, 4 years' time? Right. Keep this up. The sky's the limit. And also, I also want to thank my co-commentators. You guys made this so much fun. We tease each other because that's what we do. We have a great time. This has been a great, great event to be a part of. Thanks to Tony Rich for creating this magnificent event. I had a ton of fun. And of course, everybody else that Alice thanked, except her family. I mean, I thank them too, but everyone who was a part of this. Thanks to Rex and Jeannie Singfield. Joy Bray's name should be mentioned as well as all our wonderful crew. What a staff and what a club, the St. Louis Chess Club, for making magical events like this happen.
Absolutely. We echo those thoughts and sentiments.
Thank you,
very much
Yasser.
so.
Thank you, Maurice. It was great working with you as
Nasi,
always.
a really great pleasure. Thank you all. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being part of our show. Be sure to join us for the chess today, because so much more chess is happening this month, including the great candidates tournament coming up. We're rooting for the two Americans, Hikaru Nakamura, Fabiano. We will be in a new home, new studios
Very
for
exciting.
that event as well. So in the meanwhile, thank you so much. Good day from St. Louis.
Thank you, and we'll see you soon for the candidates.
Wow.
This has been a presentation of the St. Louis Chess Club. Any reproduction or distribution of this content without the express written consent of the St. Louis Chess Club is prohibited.